received word that there will be a change in the California Angels batting order tonight. Apparently, Ron Jackson does not feel well enough to make a go of it, and he will be replaced in the batting order by Dave Chalk. And we will give you all of the revisions in the batting order as we go along, but it will be Rudy batting sixth in left field, right after Don Baylor. And Chalk will bat seventh at third base, and then Mullenix at short, and Downing is the catcher.
Number 7, Dave Chalk.
97 degrees tonight at Arlington Stadium at game time. The wind coming out of the south to southeast at 20 miles per hour. And we've got a pretty good crowd on hand tonight as the Rangers play their final home game until a week from this Wednesday. It'll be July the 5th. And they'll be meeting the New York Yankees and then the Detroit Tigers. 5 ball games, 2 with New York and 3 with Detroit, just prior to the All-Star break. And then Texas will be off on the road again. A very tough road trip to Boston, Baltimore, and Kansas City. We're playing 9 games there and 8 games in this coming road trip, so 17 of the next 22 Ranger games are on the road. So they could use the victory here tonight as get as much as they can out of this homestand before they take off on the road. The Rangers, despite looking at first place with a victory tonight, also have to look at the fact that of their 70 games after tonight, they will have played 70. 42 have been played at home and only 28 on the road. And the Rangers have not had what you would call great success at home this on the road this season. They've won 11 and lost 17 away from Arlington Stadium. Doc Medich, tall right-hander, 29 years of age, 6'5", 227. He's won 1 ball game for Texas. That's after he had been originally removed from the starting rotation. He made a spot start for Texas in the second game of a doubleheader at the Kingdome in Seattle on May 19th and pitched a fine game that night and picked up the victory over the Seattle Mariners. And he has not won one since. He lost his next start, which was not until June the 9th when he was installed back in the rotation on a regular basis. He lost here to the Chicago White Sox 4-3, although he pitched fairly well except for 1 inning when his control deserted him. He made his next start on June 15th at Chicago and was beaten by the White Sox that night. And his last start was on June 20th against the Oakland A's, and he did not have a decision in that ball game. The Rangers coming from behind and winning the ball game. He'll face Rick Miller, Bobby Grich, and Lyman Bostock to start things off tonight. Blue skies overhead here in Texas. The pitch, there's a strike call on the outside. It's 0-1. Miller comes in with a batting average of .254, 1 home run, 15 runs batted in. Miller had a 9-game hitting streak snapped here last night by John Matlack. Calling the balls and strikes tonight, Marty Springstead, Larry Barnett at first, Jim Evans umpiring at second, and Durwood Merrill is at third. Miller had backed out of the box now, and he steps back in. The Rangers outfield plays him to swing late, and they swing around toward left. 1 strike pitch, low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Doc Medich is on the mound. Defensively, Sundberg the catcher. Hargrove at first, Wills at second, Mason at short, Hara at third. 1-1 pitch, low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. The outfield, Richie Zisk in left field, Bobby Thompson in center, and Bobby Bonds in right. 3 home run hitters out there now. Bobby Thompson uncorked one here last night. There's a swing and a miss and a low fastball by Miller. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Everybody in the dugout before the ball game was coming up to Bobby Thompson and asking to feel the size of his biceps and everything else. I don't know how he did it. Somebody told Thompson now he needs only 713 more to catch up with Ruth. He's on the all-time home run list now. Here's a swing and a drive to left field. Base hit for Rick Miller. So Miller drills a 2-2 pitch, and now he has hit safely in 10 of his last 11 games. And that brings up Bobby Grich.
Number 4.
Grich batting .223, 3 home runs and 17 runs batted in. And I tell you, the Angels have had about as poor a luck with free agent signings as anybody in baseball. I guess San Diego's had some bad luck. Bobby Grich, who usually hit the .260, .270 range for the Baltimore Orioles, last year was hitting .243 when an injury shelved him for the season. And right now, playing almost every day, he's hitting .223. Looking for the bunt of the Rangers, but Grich is not bunting. Takes a strike on the outside. It's 0-1. Toby Hara was very shallow at third. Mike Hargrove ready to charge from first, but Grich gave no indication that he was bunting. Looks at John McNamara, third base coach. Here's the stretch. Medich holds a long time, and the pitch. Now Grich turns to bunt, bounces it back to the mound. Medich has a play at second, turns, throws, and gets the lead runner. hops back to Medich on the butt by Bobby Grich. And Doc wasted no time. He swung around and fired a strike to second base, where Jim Mason was covering, and the Rangers get the lead runner.
Number 10.
Well, that really hurts, missing a sacrifice bunt. As you've taken the bat out of Bobby Grich's hands, and you don't get the runner over to second anyway. So now Grich at first with one down, and that brings up Lyman Bostock. It especially hurts with a hitter like Bostock coming up. Good contact hitter. And he can bring a runner home from second base. Pitch low, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Bostock batting at .275. He also was hitless last night. He had hit in 19 of 20 games until last evening. He's batting at .275 right now. 1 homer, 26 runs batted in. Hargrove holding in the bag at first, and a turn and a lob throw over there by Doc Medich. Grich is back easily. Doyle Alexander is loosening up in the bullpen down the right field line, getting some work in between starts for the Rangers. Medich turns and makes a little more of a concerted effort at first base, but again, Grich is back in easily. Grich not really getting a big lead over there. Bobby Grich has stolen 4 bases on the season for the Angels, been caught 3 times. Now Medich at the belt and the pitch. Bostock gets a high chopper towards second. Wills short hops, goes to Mason for 1. Mason's return, not in time. Mason would have had the shot at the double play, but as he came off the bag with the ball, he gave it a double pump. And perhaps the runner coming in, Bobby Grich, impeded his ability to get the ball over to first base as Grich came in pretty hard at second base. And Mason, with that split-second delay, unable to get Lyman Bostock at first base. But again, the Rangers get the lead runner. Now 2 outs, a runner at first. Bostock is on the bases, and that brings up Ron Fairley. Fairley was having himself quite a road trip until this weekend. Left-hand swinger batting .257. Pitch to him, swung on a drive to center. Bobby Thompson moves into the sunshine and straightaway center and makes the catch. And Fairley continues on his 0 for. He's 0 for the weekend at Arlington Stadium. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and we go to the last of the first. Angels nothing, and the Rangers coming to bat.
Ever read the fine print on that famous Budweiser label? It's a real quality story. I quote, "This is the famous Budweiser beer. We know of no brand produced by any other brewer which costs so much to brew and age. Our exclusive Beechwood aging process produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you will find in no other beer at any price. Budweiser, king of beers, brewed with the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt. Yeah, Budweiser's all-natural ingredients really do say it all. But next time you grab hold of a Beechwood-aged Budweiser, don't worry about reading the label. 1 swallow of that one-of-a-kind easy taste will tell you everything you really want to know. Because when you taste Budweiser, you've tasted beer at its golden best."
When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Last half of the first inning, and Don Ossie takes the mound for the California Angels. Young right-hander has won his last 2 starts for California. He beat the Yankees 10-7 last weekend, and then he beat the Minnesota Twins in his very last outing by a score of 5-2. Ossie stands 6'3" and weighs 195, and he was born in Orange, California, so coming back to the California Angels, or coming to the Angels for the first time, is like coming back home for him. In fact, he was one of the original members of the Junior Angels fan club, a group similar to the Junior Rangers down in the Anaheim area. So a lifelong Angels fans, and he's certainly happy to be back with California. Last year, he got his first efforts in the big league and was 6-2 for the Boston Red Sox in 13 games. A pleasant surprise for them, and a lot of people were surprised that Boston got rid of him. Sent him over to California in part of the deal that sent Jerry Remy to the Red Sox. Ossie to face Mike Hargrove, Jim Mason, and Bump Wills to start it off in the last of the first, and throws a fastball outside, ball 1. Ossie is making his 14th start of the season. He's had 1 complete game, and in 74 and a third innings, he's allowed 84 base hits. And has had some control problems at times, has walked 33. 1-0 pitch. Hargrove swings a drive to left field, base hit. Over in the alley, cut off by left fielder Rudy, and Mike Hargrove has a leadoff base hit for the Rangers. Hargrove coming in, batting .261, and he hits in his 3rd consecutive game for the Rangers, and that brings up Jim Mason. Campy Campaneris was written into the original batting order by Billy Hunter, but Campy was hit near the elbow, just above the elbow on Friday night. And then last night he was hit near the shoulder, and he's got bruises both places, and he just couldn't make it. California looking for the bunt, and Mason swings and fouls the bunt back out of play. He popped it in the air, and fortunately, it was unplayable. Ron Fairley leaving first base that time before Ossie made the pitch, and now Fairley out to talk to Ossie. First base coach Fred Koenig talking to Hargrove, as Fairley has been doing this a few times this series, discussing it with the pitcher what he's going to do at first base. Sometimes he'll stay there until the ball has been delivered, and other times he comes charging right down the line. So the Angels trying to get that lead runner. Let's see what Mason does. Here they come, charging from the corners. Hargrove is running. The throw to second is in time. He's out. And Billy Hunter gets up off the bench in the Rangers dugout and walks over to the water cooler, which Billy Hunter does quite often when he's frustrated. Mason took the pitch for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. So now the bases are empty with 1 down. Something didn't quite go right there. Here's a curveball over for strike 2 call. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Either Mason missed the bunt sign or a Hargrove perhaps missed some sort of a sign. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, the check swing. It's hit down the left field line. Fair ball. Rudy over to cut it off in the corner. Mason takes a big turn and holds on with a base hit. Well, Jim Mason's been wielding a rather hot bat the last few weeks. He's now had 7 base hits in his last 14 trips to the plate.
The second baseman, number 1.
Now that brings up Bump Wills. Wills has also been swinging the bat very well lately. In the last 8 games, Bump has been hitting .385, and he's had 7 RBIs in those 8 games, and has brought his batting average up 20 points in that time. He's batting .235, 5 home runs and 24 runs batted in. Mason leads at first. The pitch to Wills, a fastball high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. One thing there with Hargrove, he was able to theoretically get a very good jump on that attempted steal at second with Fairley not holding him on the bag at first. But whether that was what was supposed to happen seems debatable. There's a long drive to deep right field. Catches in the wind, and Bostock near the warning track makes the catch. Wills hit a long, high drive. Appeared to be headed for the stands in right. But that's right in the teeth of a very strong wind blowing in at 20 miles per hour, or somewhere in that vicinity. And Wills got it right up into the middle of it, and Bostock hauled it down. So Mason returns to first base. 2 gone for the Rangers, and here's Richie Zisk. Richie batting at .288 for Texas. And in the last 9 games, Richie's had base hits in 8 of those games, and he's been hitting at a .364 clip. Here's the stretch by Ossie. The pitch to Zisk. There's a curve for a strike on the outside. 0-1. Zisk now with 11 home runs and 47 runs batted in. The Angels on the infield really swing over to play him to pull. Big hole on the right side of the infield. Zisk swings at a high fastball. Doesn't get it. It's 0-2. Second baseman Gritch is way over toward the middle. And the only man on the right side of the infield really is first baseman Fairley, and he's holding on the bag. 0-2 is Ossie quickly very much ahead of Zisk here in the bottom of the first. Mason leads at first. The pitch swung on and fouled back out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. The Rangers have won 5 in a row, and that is their second longest winning streak of the season, and they've won 7 of 8. And in those 8 games, Texas has scored 48 runs. About 6 a game. Here's the stretch and the 2-strike pitch. Outside, it gets by the catcher and back toward the screen, and Mason goes down to second base. That'll be scored as a wild pitch by Ossie. Threw a low breaking ball way outside, and Downing couldn't get it. So now the Rangers get a break. A base hit from Richie Zisk could bring home a run. Bobby Bonds on deck. He would be next. So last night, a real oddity. The Angels and the Rangers in 286 games had split them right down the middle. So now Texas has a 1-game lead in that series. Mason leads from second. Here's the stretch. 1-2 pitch, curveball, bouncing ball to third. Waiting for it is the third baseman Chalk. He throws to first in time. And Zisk is retired, and so are the Rangers. No runs, 2 base hits, 1 man left on, and after 1 full, The Angels nothing, the Rangers nothing.
I've got grease on my fingers, oil on my shoes, I'm always under the hood. But I wouldn't change places with anyone else, even if I could. I worked on every car, big and small, every kind of engine too. And there's one thing that applies to them all, whether they're old or new. You can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. Champion's number one in the world, they're number one in your car. Some folks don't mind working in a big place, being part of a team. I prefer just me and that engine, nobody in between. You can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. Champion's number one in the world, they're number one in your car. No, you can't buy better blood for any kind of car than Champion. You can't buy better blood no matter where you are than Champion. No, you can't.
Coming up on the next homestand, we told you the New York Yankees in July 5th and 6th during the week. And then on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just prior to the All-Star break, the Detroit Tigers come into town. And that Friday night, July the 7th, is All-American night at Arlington Stadium. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and also Chevrolet night at the ballpark. And Chevy will be giving away an amazing two-door hatchback Chevy Chevette. And you can register to win this beautiful new car right now and as many times as you like at your nearby Tarrant County and Dallas County Chevrolet dealerships. Now, you need not be present the night of the 7th to win, but register right now at as many times as you like at your nearby Tarrant County and Dallas County Chevrolet dealerships. Hitting number 2, Don Baylor takes ball 1. It'll be Baylor, Rudy, and Chalk for the California Angels. Baylor, the leading home run hitter on this team with 18. Takes a good pitch on the outside corner, knee high for a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baylor is batting .245, but he's had 18 homers and 46 runs batted in. Big and very strong right-hand batter. 1-1 pitch. Outside, missing 2 balls and 1 strike. Incidentally, in that drawing on July the 7th, when you register, you'll not only be registering for the Chevy Chevette, but also for a chance to win 2 8-day luxury vacations for 2 in Hawaii. And, of course, there will be a 25-cent discount coupon and fry wieners from Fry Meats and a certificate for a free apple pie from Jack in the Box. And that's all on July 7th. All-American night at Arlington Stadium. Baylor has a big cut, doesn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oakland over Kansas City today, 6-3. Tony Armas had the game-winning hit in that game, breaking a 3-3 tie with his very first home run of the season in the 7th inning against Larry Gura. Bob Lacey won the game in relief. Here's a swing and a pop-up. May be playable. Foul ground. First base side. Coming over is Sundberg and Hargrove. And Sundberg makes the one-hand catch near the on-deck circle. Any ball hit in the air is going to dance around a bit tonight as usual with the wind blowing in. And Sundberg stayed with it as he stays with those foul pops perhaps better than any other catcher, or at least as well as any catcher in baseball. You don't see too many teams where a catcher will go after almost any pop foul he can get to. Usually the rule of thumb is if the first baseman or third baseman can get to a ball, they'll take it from the catcher. But Jim Sundberg is one of those rare exceptions. 1 down, here's Joe Rudy in the throes of a terrible slump, batting .195. He swings and misses at a high fastball. Medich blew it by him. Rudy striking out at an alarming pace this season, about once every 4 times up. The worst strikeout ratio he'd ever had in the big leagues was about once every 8 times up prior to this season. So something is wrong, and that statistic bears it out as well as any other. Here's another swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So quickly, Medich way ahead of Rudy. Rudy struck out 3 times last night against Matlack. And last week at Yankee Stadium, he struck out 4 times against Ron Guidry. Besides that, he's hit only 2 home runs and has 18 runs batted in. Now the 2-strike pitch from Medich. Just misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dave Chalk on deck. 1 out and nobody on for the Angels. Top of the 2nd. 0-0 ball game. Rangers outfield very deep for Rudy and around toward left. Now Medich winds, and here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on line, base hit center field. That one on the shortstop side is second. Mason couldn't get to it as Rudy really crashed it. And so Joe Rudy has the 2nd hit of the ball game for the California Angels. That brings up Dave Chalk, and he gives a look to third base coach John McNamara.
Number 7.
Dave Chalk, a last-minute replacement in the batting order for the Angels. inserted in place of Ron Jackson. Jackson made a dive for a hard ground ball, third baseline on Friday night in the second game of the doubleheader, and bruised himself right in the chest and left the ball game in considerable pain, and has now missed the next two ball games as well. The pitch to Chalk is a curveball, low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Chalk is hitting .267. Hey, the Angels, who aren't hitting the ball at all in this series anyway, really missed Jackson. He's their leading hitter, .320. Chalk really chokes up in the bat, right-hand swinger. Crouch. Rudy is running. The pitch is hit to second. Wills doesn't have a play at second, goes to first in time to get Chalk. So the hit and run breaks up a chance at a double play as the ball was hit right to bump Wills. And the Rangers got a break on that one because Wills was going to go over and cover second base with Rudy moving. And the ball was hit right to bump just as he had started to break over. So if Chalk had hit that one just a few feet more to the right, he would have had himself a hit and run base hit. So now with 2 outs, Rudy is in scoring position, and that brings up Rance Mullenix, batting .184. Well, the Angels will get a chance to give some of this back to the Rangers next weekend. 3 ball games at Anaheim. Here's the pitch. Outside, a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes to Mullenix, left-hand swinger. Had a fine rookie campaign at .269, and has not been able to find that swing again this year, batting .184. Lost his shortstop job. Medic into the stretch. Rudy leads from second. And the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the left field side. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tuesday night, Wednesday night at Oakland. The Rangers and the Oakland A's to start the road trip will be on the air at 9:15. 9:15 Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we'll be on the air at 3:15 with the final game of that series. An afternoon game on Thursday. Here's the stretch by Medic and the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and hit back to the middle. Knocked down by Medic. Wills charges. Fields and will not make a throw. No chance to get Mullenix. Well, Medic saved a run that time as he kept the ball in the infield. It was headed for the middle. Medic knocked it down with his glove, and it deflected off the glove towards second and never got off the infield grass. Wills charged it hard but had no play anywhere. So they haven't gotten the run home, at least on that base hit, an infield hit for Mullenix. But the inning is still going, and now Doc Medic needs to retire Downing, the number 9 man in the batting order. And before Downing steps in, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas.
George Goebel says save now on all Bemco Posture mattress sets at Nathan Crouch Furniture, Denison, Texas.
The pitch to Downing, swung on and hit high in the air to shallow center. Wills going out, Thompson coming in, and Thompson makes the catch, and the inning is over. So the Angels get a couple of base hits against Medic here in the second in strand 2, and after 1.5, California nothing and Texas nothing.
The sporty Chevy Monza.
When you're driving down the road and you're moving through a curve and your car's looking good, it's showing lots of nerve. It's a Monza, a Chevrolet.
Whoever thought a car that looked so good, moved so well, would be priced so low? Only $3,659. That's the manufacturer's suggested retail price, including dealer preparation, for Monza 2+2 hatchback coupe. Tax, license, destination charges, and available equipment extra. Chevy Monza, $3,659. A very stylish little number.
When you're turning lots ahead, standing up above the herd, and your car's moving smooth, start spreading the word. It's a Monza, a Chevrolet.
Chevy Monza, $3,659. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low.
Monza, a Chevrolet.
See your local Chevrolet dealer now.
Inning number 2, the Rangers will have Bobby Bonds, Pat Putnam, and Jim Sundberg as the first 3 to face. Don Ossie, scoreless tie, bottom of the second. Today in Boston, Mike Torres scattered 9 hits and posted his 11th victory. Rick Burleson hit a solo home run, and the Red Sox beat the Baltimore Orioles 4-1 and swept their 3-game series. Boston has now won 33 and lost 6 at Fenway Park this year. They've won their last 4 in a row and outscored the opposition 26-8. And they lead the East now by 8.5 games over the New York Yankees. And Mike Torres wins one today. Well, the Orioles were flying high when they went into Boston and dropped 3. Here's Bobby Bonds, who's had a hot bat, takes a fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bonds has hit in 8 of the last 10 games, and he's been hitting .441 in that time. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Bonds picked up another RBI last night, and has now had 11 RBIs in the last 4 games. He's had 9 in this series. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. High fastball away. 2-1. Bonds has brought his overall average up to .265. In the last 10 games, he's had 15 RBIs. So he's been going really for a couple of weeks now with a pretty hot RBI bat. The pitch a little bit low. 3 balls and a strike to Bobby Bonds. Bonds now has 11 home runs and 34 runs batted in for the season. So 9 of those homers and had 26 of those RBIs with Texas. The pitch outside, ball 4. So Ossie walks Bobby Bonds to lead off the bottom of the second. That brings up Pat Putnam, the designated hitter tonight. Putnam has batted 22 times for Texas with only 4 base hits, a .182 batting average. And yet he's only struck out 1 time. He usually makes contact, but he's been hitting him right at somebody more often than not. Bonds leads at first, fairly holding in the bag. Here's the pitch to Putnam. High, ball 1. The third baseman, Chalk. Jackson is out of the ball game tonight. Shortens up just a bit. The outfield fanned out straight away. Jim Sundberg on deck. Bobby Bonds a threat to steal. Gets the lead. And a throw over there by Ossie. Bonds has stolen 13 times this year and been caught 5. Now the lead. Not that big a lead. Now edges out a little bit more. He's running. The pitch is outside. The throw to second is in time. He's out at second. Mullenix made the tag. Fine throw down there by Brian Downing. Put it right in the bag. A little bit high, but got it there in time, and Mullenix brought the ball down on Bobby Bonds. So Bonds is thrown out trying to steal, and the Rangers are 0 for 2 tonight against Brian Downing in the steal department. The pitch to Putnam was ball 2, so now the base is empty with 1 down, and a 2-0 count to Putnam. Here's the pitch. Ball 3, high. Texas, coming into the ball game, had a success percentage on stolen base attempts of 75.6. That's very good for an individual, much less a team. 3-0 pitch is over for strike, 3-1. The Rangers had 3 steals last night. Then in the doubleheader, they had 4 steals in the second game, 1 in the first. There's strike 2 at the knees, 3-2. So Texas had 8 stolen bases in 3 games in this series before tonight. The count to Pat Putnam is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Ossie winds for the payoff pitch. Swung on, sprayed to the ground to third base, as Chalk comes wide of the bag and throws him out at first. Chalk had pulled off wide of the third base bag anyway, and then that ball headed for the hole, and he moved over to his left side and fielded it and nails it. 2 gone, and here's Jim Sundberg.
Number 10, Jim Sundberg.
Sundberg got a double that turned into the game-winning hit in the first game of the doubleheader on Friday, and went 0 for 4 last night. He's gone 0 for his last 6 and is batting .308 for the Rangers. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. At Kansas City today, Tony Armas knocked in 2 runs. He got his home run and also had an RBI double in that Oakland victory over the Royals. Here's Sundberg getting a high chopper toward shortstop. Mullenix charges and drops the ball, and Sundberg is safe. And they'll give him a base hit on that one, as Rance Mullenix had to charge hard on that little ground ball and got caught in between hops that time. Got the little short hop as he charged in, and the ball came up, hit him in the midsection, or in the midriff, and bounced down, and Jim Sundberg has himself an infield base hit. 3 hits now for Texas, and with 2 outs, they have a base runner, and that brings up Toby Harrah. Toby is batting .204. He had 3 hits last night. That was the first 3-hit game for Toby since May the 6th. And he's hit 5 times in his last 13 at-bats. Rangers keep hoping Toby will start to break loose, and he may. There's ball 1 outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Sundberg with a lead at first is fairly holds in the bag against him. 2 outs, a runner on, and the 1-0 pitch. High and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Cubbage had a run-scoring single, capped a 3-run sixth today. And Minnesota beat the Chicago White Sox 8-5. That was the first of a doubleheader. Harris swings and hits a bouncer just outside of third. Foul ball. 2 balls and a strike. Twins were down 5-3 in that ball game, and then got the winning rally started when Glenn Adams walked and Rich Childs singled. And they went on to win the ball game. Schuler took the loss and Mike Marshall the win. Marshall now 2-6. Roy Smalley later hit a home run to give the Minnesota Twins some insurance. Here's the stretch. 2-1 pitch to Hara. Outside and low. 3 balls and a strike. Downtown Bobby Thompson is on deck. Hara, quick look at third base coach Pat Corrales. 3 balls and a strike to Toby. Let's see if he'll get something to hit here. Ossie down at the belt. Here's the pitch. Outside, he walks him. Ossie has walked 2 batters in the inning. He walked Bobby Bonds to start the inning off, but Bobby was thrown out trying to steal. Now he's walked Hara. Sundberg moves to second. That brings up Bobby Thompson, who will move back to the left side of the plate after he hit the home run for the right side last night. You know, that was not only Thompson's first home run in his big league career, but he said it was the first time he'd ever hit a home run right-handed, ever, anywhere. Last night, with that home run, he got his first run batted in from the right side of the plate. He's hitting .256 from the left side and batting .221 overall. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. A base hit to the outfield could mean a run for the Rangers. Ossie delivers. High and tight, ball 1. Ossie getting high with a lot of stuff now. Mike Hargrove on deck. He would be next. Sundberg at second. Hara at first. Bottom of the second. The Rangers trying to break through and get the game's first run. Ossie into the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on a drive to left field. Maybe playable. Rudy gets over near the line and makes the catch. Thompson really stung that one hard to the opposite field, but got it too much in the air, and Rudy able to grab it. So the Rangers go down here in the second. No runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 left. And after 2 full, California nothing and Texas nothing.
Cook Paint Decorating Center.
Say, do you sell to painting contractors?
We sure do. Because we service contractors from all our stores, we can save you a lot of time and money.
What about special finishes?
We've got a contractor maintenance sales department that can help you with any coating problem. Give us a shot at your next job. I know you'll like the service and the quality.
I'll just do that.
Cook Paint. Finest quality for home and industry.
In Arlington for the good times in 1978, Six Flags Over Texas is more exciting than ever. Now open, the Shockwave is the longest, tallest, fastest double-loop roller coaster in the world, and it's the biggest thing ever to happen in your imagination. And just 10 minutes east is the Southwest's largest wax museum, featuring the famous and the infamous in wax, as well as one of the largest antique gun collections in the United States. Only minutes from the museum, Traders Village, Disneyland, the flea markets, and more open weekends. All this and Major League Baseball, too. For vacation fun, come to Arlington.
We've gone through 2 innings, both ball clubs with 3 hits. We've had a lot of base runners already, but nobody's been able to score. The top of the batting order coming up for California against Doc Medich in the third. And stepping in for more play-by-play, here's Bill Merrill.
Thanks, John. Rick Miller, Bob Gritch, and Lyman Bostock will be looking at Doc Medich for the second time. Medich comes on tonight with a career record of 3 wins, 4 losses over California, all of those with other ball clubs other than Texas. And Ossie, another right-hander, has never faced the Rangers. So, man trying to win his first game, and Medich, on the other hand, trying to even up his record against California. Miller had a base hit to open the ball game. He was shut out, as John mentioned, last night, and that broke a 9-game hit streak for him as he went 0 for 3 in the contest. Reached base, however, once on a walk. But he's picked up again, hitting at .258. 1 homer with 15 runs batted in. He has picked up 3 hits in this series. Pitch to him is outside, 1-0. 97 degrees at game time, and the wind as usual out of the south-southeast, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Here's the next delivery. Over but low, and the count is 2 balls, no strikes. Medich has given up 3 hits, has not walked a batter, nor has he struck out anyone. Rangers on the road for 8 ball games, beginning on Tuesday night at Oakland. 3 games there, then 3 games in California, and 2 in Chicago. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Over again, but low, and the count is 3-0. So Medich falling behind. The leadoff batter, Rick Miller, the center fielder for the Angels. They play him to slap that ball late, as Thompson's well over toward left center. Zisk in left field playing toward the left field line, and Bonds is over toward right center. Here's the pitch. 3-0, through for the strike, and it's 3 balls, 1 strike. Game number 70 for the Rangers. They have played for the first time. They are over 5 games, over 500 on the season. Here's a 3-1 delivery. Swung on, lifted foul. Back out of play in the mezzanine area, and the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Medic, after going 3-0, has come back to fill the count. Last inning, Medic was up there at 90 miles an hour, and Ossie at 91, so both right-handers throwing good. Medic at 90 and Ossie at 91. Here's the pitch. Swung on, really rammed down to the shortstop. Mason picks it clean, fires over to first in time for the out. That was a true grass cutter, right on the ground all the way to shortstop. And Mason dug it out, fired the first baseman Hargrove, one away, and that bring on Bob Gritch. Gritch attempting to put a bunt down. Forced Miller, who was on at first, back in the first inning, so Gritch is nothing out of 1. Batting at .222. He's had only 1 hit in 11 at-bats in this series against the Rangers. Medic works him sidearm, off of the fist, a little bouncer by Wills. He gets a glove on it, deflects it into shallow center field, and Gritch will hold at first base with a base hit. That was a ball stung right off of the fist of Gritch. Came in on him, and he hit it up the middle. Wills raced over to his right, got a glove on it, deflected it, but it caromed on into center field by some 15, 20 feet, and Gritch is on with a base hit. Number 4, surrendered by Medic, and to the plate steps left-handed batting right fielder Lyman Bostock. Lyman hitting at .274, 1 homer with 26 runs batted in. Medic checks a runner at first, and here's the pitch. Foul ball, cut back to the screen, strike 1. Bostock's 3 for 13 in this series. A lot of the Angels having some points taken away from them on their batting average. Ranger pitching's been outstanding in this 4-game stand. 2 shutouts, first by Jenkins, and then last night, Medic came up with his 27th career shutout. 2 balls, 1 strike on Bostock. Run Fairley is on deck. And the pitch to the plate. Taken high and inside, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. 0-0. In case you joined us late, we play in the 3rd inning. California batting with 1 out, 1 on. Bobby Gritch is on over at first base. Bob Clear, the coach down there, talking to Gritch, said they were playing real well on the road till they hit the Arlington Stadium area, and it all went awry in the first 3 games. Another move by Medic over to first base, and Gritch not too far away. Camper's back. Gritch has swiped 4 out of 7 this year. Pitch is low and away, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1 on Lyman Bostock. California getting a runner. Joe Rudy as far as 3rd. In the 2nd inning, the Rangers have been able to get runners as far as 2nd. 7 hits in the game and no runs. 2-1. The count as Medic has slowed down the tempo. A check with Gritch edging away from first, and the pitch comes to the plate. Back up the middle toward Mason. He steps on the bag for 1 easy double play. Well, he rammed that ball hard. Bostock right to Mason. Over near second base, Jim grabbed it, fired over to Hargrove, and he's a 6-3 double play. No runs, a hit. Nobody left. We head to the Ranger 3rd with the score Texas nothing, California nothing.
If you drive along the highway or make tracks across the snow, even biking across the country, Champion is the way to go. If you soar across the skyway or go cruising out to sea, if you're into racing go-karts, Champion is the plug you need. You can't buy a better plug, can't rely on a better plug. For any engine, big or small, Champion sparks them all.
When the time comes for you to get your boat ship-shape from stem to stern, don't forget about those old worn spark plugs. A tune-up with a fresh set of Champion spark plugs can give you quicker start, smoother performance, and more hours per gallon. So before you ship out, tune up with Champion, the world's #1 selling spark plug. Remember,
you can't buy a better plug, can't rely on a better plug. For any engine, big or small, Champion sparks them all. For any engine, big or small, Champion sparks them all.
Broadcast of the Texas Ranger baseball games are the property of the Texas Ranger Baseball Network. Any reproduction without the prior written consent of the Rangers Network is prohibited. Radio and television broadcasting rights of the Texas Ranger baseball games are owned and operated by the Texas Ranger Baseball Network, a division of the City of Arlington. The general managers, sportscasters, engineers, and directors of these broadcasts are employed and compensated for services by the city of Arlington, Texas. Mike Hargrove, the leadoff man, will start it off for the Rangers here in the third inning. Hargrove singled to open the ball game, currently hitting at .264. He has 4 for 10 against California, hitting a cool .400. Left-handed batting first baseman stands in, and Otzi works a slow breaking curveball in for a strike call. It'll be Hargrove, Mason, and Wills, the top three up there for the Rangers. Infield finds Chalk well off of the bag at third and near the grass. First baseman fairly way back. The pitch comes down, and it's low for a ball, and it's 1-1. Outfield pinching toward the center for Hargrove. They pretty well give him the outfield foul lines as Bostock is well over toward right center. Here's the pitch. High and away, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. And the same is true in left field with Joe Rudy. Center fielder Rick Miller, as he plays a fairly shallow center field, just about straight away. 2 balls, 1 strike on Hargrove. And here is the pitch. Swung on, bounced down the first base side, diving, barely cannot get it, down the line. It'll be good for at least 2. Bostock in the corner, picking it up. Here's Hargrove around second. He'll make it easily into third, standing with a triple. Bostock having trouble picking the ball up off of the wall. That ball hooked the line all the way down to the 330 mark, and Hargrove pumps into third base with his third triple of the year. Check me on that. That's number 1. And that is the 4th hit given up by Don Ossie. Well, that one hooked the line. Barely dove for the ball at first base. Could not come up with it. Just missed coming up with it, and it hooked that line right on down the right field wall. Here's Mason. Jim's 1 for 1, poked a single to left field. So the Rangers have a great opportunity with nobody out and a man at third to break the scoring ice here in the last of inning number 3. Jim Mason, now 2 out of 3 against this ball club this year. Left-handed batter stands in. Barely was up near the grass, and now he backs off. And Ossie will work from the stretch. Here's the pitch. High and away, 1 ball to nothing. Jim hitting at .246. Takes a reading. Pat Corrales stepping out of that batter's box to be sure they have everything right. So Hargrove opens Ranger third with a triple down the right field line. I look to third, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, coming up high on him. And tight, and Mason could not pick it up. So he's trying to put that ball in play and get Hargrove home. 1-1 the count on shortstop Jim Mason. Bump Wills will be next. From the belt, Don Ossie a check of third, and here's the pitch. Curveball rammed down to the first baseman fairly. Looks Hargrove back to third. Makes the unassisted put out on Mason. Well, Jim cracked that ball sharply on 1 hop to the first baseman fairly, and he turns it into the first out of the inning. We move now to second baseman Bump Wills. Switch batter hitting left against the right-hander Don Ossie. Ossie 4 and 3 on the year. In trouble right now in the third inning. Wills hit a fly ball to right field and hit it fairly deep his first time up. Certainly deep enough to score Hargrove from third base. If he could repeat that performance, Rangers could take a 1-0 lead. Wills hitting at .234. He's 3 for 8 in this series. Pitch inside. Good save by the catcher Brian Downing. Having to move rapidly off to his right, scoop the ball, and prevents a run. 1 ball to nothing on Wills. Zisk, cleanup batter, is on deck. From the belt, a check by Ossie. Here's the pitch. Just outside, and the count is 2 balls, no strikes. 2-0. 1 out, 1 on. Hargrove over at third. So Mike's 2 for 2 tonight. Ossie readies himself. Here's a 2-0 delivery. Swung on, a little looper hit into center field. That's fairly well back. Miller's there to make the play. Hargrove fakes to come, and here's a throw, and he's going to hold. And apparently he's down the line to cut it off. Well, the throw was fairly well up the third baseline. Hargrove perhaps would have had a chance, but situation where you got your cleanup batter coming on, maybe they figured that it's best to not try and take the gamble. So a fly ball off of the bat of Wills, not deep enough to center to score Hargrove. Now there are 2 men out. Still Hargrove at third base, and here is Richie Zisk. He grounded out third to first, his only trip tonight. Nothing out of 1. Hitting at .287. Zisk with 11 homers, 47 runs batted in. Leading the ball club in the RBI department, stands up right now. He's 4 for 11 against California and has a couple of runs batted in. He had the winning RBI in yesterday's game. Picked it up with a single in the third inning. Infield back all the way around. Hargrove still at third base. Here's a look by Ossie, and the pitch comes over, but low. 1-0. Breaking pitch down. Bonds is on deck, hoping to get a turn here in the inning. Rich way over towards second base. Playing Zist to pull that ball. Here's the pitch. Outside. It runs, and it's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs, 1 on. Rangers as a team hitting at .248. 2 points higher than the Angels. When they came to town, they were 2 points higher than the Rangers. 2-0 on Zisk. A look to third, and here's the pitch. Swung on, a foul ball cut off of the catcher, Bryant Downing, and the count moves to 2 balls, 1 strike. Rangers still have not been able to get that run average per ball game up to 3.96 coming into tonight's action. Right now, they'd like to have 1. 2-1 on Zisk, trying to pick up Hargrove over at third base. So Ossie has put down 2 Rangers after giving up the leadoff triple. From the belt, a look to third, and here's the pitch to the plate. Curveball, check swing roller, he should be out of the inning. Ossie grabs it, throws over to first, and my, Rangers got a triple and failed to score. No runs, 1 hit, and a man stranded. We head to inning number 4 with the score, Texas nothing, California nothing.
WBAP 820.
Now, one of the things that makes a good meal taste even better is ranch-style beans. See there? It makes your mouth water just thinking about them. That spicy sauce is extra rich, just enough zing without being too hot. Now, add a hot dog with all the fixings, and you've got about the best tummy pleaser there is. Treat your family to ranch-style beans. Good hot or cold. Good anytime with anything. They're sure good beans.
A&D Auto Supply McKinney says do something nice for your car during AC Filter Days.
All across our land, people know our brand. You can trust AC. Thanks, AC. Filters by AC.
A&D Auto Supply McKinney features quality engine protection with AC oil filters, AC air filters, AC gasoline filters, and AC PCV valves. Protect your engine now during AC Filter Days. Go with the names you know. AC Delco and A&D Auto Supply McKinney.
The newest of the new Ranger publications is available at all Ranger home games. It's called Pennant Fever and brings you inside stories and interviews with manager Bill Hunter, Richie Zisk, Bump Wills, and much, much more. On sale here at Arlington Stadium only. Ron Fairley, first baseman for California, leads it off. Hit a liner to center, captured by Thompson to retire the side in the first inning. Nothing out of 1, and Ron is nothing out of 9 for the 4 games. Did not participate in last night's affair.
Austin, telephone.
So it's still a 0-0 ball game, each team with 4 hits. And Doc Medich ready to crank up here in the 4th inning. Right-hander kicks and fires. High, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Fairley, Baylor, and Rudy will be looking at Doc Medich here in the inning. Bobby Thompson playing a very deep center field for Ron Fairley. Here's a look at the pitch. Strike call. Fastball over at the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fairley hitting at .255. He has 8 home runs and 25 runs batted in. Hoping to become a 4-decade man. Next delivery missing, and the count is 2-1. Dan O'Brien with a little bit of humor coming into the press box.
What was it he said?
I couldn't hear. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Popped over the pitcher's mound and grabbed by Mason behind second. Zip to throw and gets his man. Good play by Jim Mason. Crossing over behind second on a high bouncer over the pitcher's mound. Took the ball near the bag and zipped one over to Hargrove on a good play for the out on Fairley. Don Baylor will be the batter. He fouled out to Sundberg. His only trip leading off the 2nd inning. Nothing out of 1. Right-handed hitting Austin native stands in there, hitting at .244. 1 out, nobody on him. Medich comes to him. Swung on, drill by third, down the line. Herodives cannot come up with it. Baylor around first will jog into second base with a stand-up double. Zisk in the corner to retrieve and fire back to the infield. And Baylor has doubled with 1 out here in the inning. That's Don's 8th double of the year, and that is the 5th base hit given up by Doc Medich. So California again threatens with a man in scoring position. 1 out, and standing in is Joe Rudy. He had a single with 1 out in the 2nd inning. Rudy, right-handed batter, getting ready to step in. And Joe is now 3 for 10 against Texas pitching. Baylor also 3 for 10 with that double. Rudy hitting an even 200. Outfield deep and off to the left side. The infield swung around third base way. Here's the pitch. Swung on a bouncing ball. Shortstop. Mason charges, comes up with it on to first for the out. So 2 outs, and Baylor has to hold at second base. Now there are 2 gone, and here's Dave Chalk. Chalk grounded out to second baseman Bump Wills in the second inning, nothing out of 1. Dave's hitting at 266. No scores. We play in the 4th inning. Chalk choking way up on the bat this year. And Medich checks Baylor back at second base. Not too big a lead. Here's the pitch. Just misses outside. 1 ball to nothing. Rance Mullenix, shortstop, is on deck. John McNamara coaching over at third, and Bob Clear up at first base. Medich from the belt. Looks back to Baylor. Here's the pitch. Over but low with a breaking ball, and it's 2 balls, no strikes, and Sundberg wants a moment to jog out to the mound and have a couple of words. We have a moment, so let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
This is WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas. When it comes to Ranger baseball coverage, the Dallas Times-Herald covers all the bases and brings it home every time.
Sundberg still chatting, and now Bump Wills comes in from second base. Apparently they may have something on, or feel they may have picked up a sign or something. Baylor down at second has swiped 7 bases in 10 tries this year, so 70% percentage for Don Baylor. 2-0 the count on Dave Chalk. Medich to check back to second base, and in rides the pitch. Strike call. Popped that one right through, and it's 2-1. 2 men are out. No runs, 5 hits for the Angels. No runs, 4 hits for the Rangers. Medich peering into Sundberg right now. They may have wanted to change signals with Baylor down there at second base. And here's the 2-1 delivery. Strike 2 call. Popped a good fastball in. Medich perhaps as quick this outing as he has been, and perhaps even more so than any time this year. Clocked at 90 miles an hour earlier, and those last 2 pitches seem to have quite a bit on them. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, the man at second. A look by Medich. Here's a wheel and a deal back as Wills comes back to cover, but Baylor easily makes it in ahead of the throw. 2 men are out. Apparently led off grounding to shortstop on a good play by Jim Mason behind the bag. Then Baylor doubled down the left field line. That ball was just barely there, and then he got Rudy on a ground out, and he's looking right now at Dave Chalk with a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Ball 3. Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On right-handed hitting third baseman Chalk. Not originally slated to work in tonight's ball game, but at the last moment, Ron Jackson, who is hitting .315, was scratched from the lineup, and Chalk inserted. So Medich readies himself with a 3-2 pitch. Here's a look to second, and the pitch comes down. A bouncing ball to Mason again. He's been busy this inning. Gloves it, throws to first in time for the out. So the double to no avail for the Angels as they go without any profit. No runs, 1 hit, and a man stranded. They've stranded 4 and 4 at bats. We head to inning number 4, the last half of, with the score still. The Rangers nothing, and the Angels nothing.
I must be seeing double. Those guys riding that bicycle built for 2 both look like Edmund's man.
Right you are, Virginia. But then I'm always beside myself when pick-a-pair time rolls around. That's when everybody says my favorite word twice.
Budweiser?
Right again. Just look for me, both of me, on the pick-a-pair display at your favorite store. Take home not 1, but 2 6-packs of the king of beers. And this year, pick-a-pair time will be rolling from now right through the 4th of July weekend. That'll give you plenty of great times to enjoy the easy taste of a Budweiser. Or 2.
Guess I'll be seeing you real soon, Ed. Both of you, in fact.
Don't forget to say it twice.
Budweiser, Budweiser.
Smart girl. Right, partner? Yes, indeed, Edward. Now let's pedal these 6-packs home.
Bye, fellas.
See you soon. Farewell, my chickadee.
Say Budweiser.
You said it.
Pick-a-pair 6-packs by Bud.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Bobby Bonds will step in and lead it off for the Rangers. Bobby walked his first trip up, hitting at .265, 11 homers and 34 runs batted in. He's really been on a tear against this ball club. 4 for 8 and even .500, 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in. And Don Ossie pitches to him. A breaking ball outside, 1 ball to nothing. By the way, the Texas Rangers souvenir yearbook is now available. It is out, and we've had quite a few inquiries as to when they would be out. Here's the pitch. It's up high, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. And those of you who have sent your money for those, they should be mailed by Monday, so they should be coming quickly. Here's the pitch, low and away, and Ossie falls behind Bonds. 3 balls, no strikes. As I mentioned, we have had quite a few people asked as they had sent checks or money orders for that yearbook, and it will be mailed to you Monday. Pitch is over but low, and it's ball 4. 4 consecutive pitches, and Ossie puts Bonds on for the second time on a walk. That is the 3rd walk given up by Don Ossie. 2 recorded back in the 2nd inning, and now he walks Bobby Bonds to lead off this as a Ranger for it. Pat Putnam rolled out to the 3rd baseman on a good play by Chuck. Wide of the bag. His only trip, nothing out of 1. Pat's hitting at 174. He's had 1 hit in the 11 at-bats. That would be 091 against California. A check of the runner Bonds, and the delivery is a curveball breaking over for a strike. So Ossie threw a curveball over and got it in there for a strike against Putnam. Here's a check and a move over to first base. The Rangers have been running the bases exceedingly well this year, but they have been caught in a couple of tries tonight. But it also makes it a little more difficult for that pitcher when the ball club is running, and running well. Slowly tap ball to Gritch. He'll go to the shortstop Mullenix for 1, but no return, and Putnam is on at first base on the fielder's choice. Slowly tap ball to Bobby Gritch, and Bonds, who runs very well, was on his way, and Gritch still made the play on him with Mullenix covering, but no chance for the double play. So there's 1 out now and a man on at first base as they get the lead runner, and that brings on Jim Sundberg. He hit 1 to the shortstop. Mullenix tried to short hop it, and it kicked away from him for a base hit. A very difficult play back in the 2nd inning. So Jim's 1 for 1 tonight, up there right now with a runner on at first base. Hitting at 311. The pitch to Sundberg. Check swing down low, ball 1. No score. We play in the last of inning number 4, and the finale in this road trip for California as they have played the Rangers now the 4th time. Rangers return the compliment next weekend in Anaheim. Here's the pitch, a runner moving, swung on, drilled down the first base side. If it stays fair, it is trouble. Off, foul by no more than a foot. Ooh, that would have been a run for sure. Putnam was all the way to 3rd base, and now we'll cut back across. Sundberg driving the ball right down the first base line, and at the last moment twisted away foul. Not more than 12, 18 inches off the line, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. So Putnam with a long trek back to first base sets up there. 1 out, 1 on. A walk to Bonds opened the inning, and then he was forced at second by Putnam. And Putnam took up station at first base. 1-1 the count now on Sundberg. They trying to pull the hit and run and almost pulled it off. From the belt, a check by Don Ossie. The right-hander kicks and fires. Curveball. Missing inside, and the count goes to 2-1. Ossie 6'3", and 195-pounder. 23 years of age, will ready himself for the next pitch, and here it is. Again, they play hit and run, and this one's going to be foul all the way. Down that right field line, Putnam was running. Ball back into the seats, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. So with a 2-2 count, let's see if Bill Hunter still wants him to try to play a little hit and run. Right fielder over there is Lyman Bostock, and he is not playing. Sundberg to punch that ball as he has a couple of times right down that right field line. Sonny would have had 2 bases easily on the first foul, and Putnam could have scored from first base. But that's all academic, since it was simply a foul ball. 2-2 the count on Sundberg now. Infield set up in double play depth. Ossie checks the runner at first base. Right-hander comes to the plate. Curveball ripped to left field. Base hit. Putnam down to second will hold on as Rudy comes up with it, and Sundberg is 2 for 2. So, with 1 out, the Rangers have a couple of men on. Sundberg getting his second hit, and the Rangers now have 5 out Don Ossie. That brings on Toby Harrah. Harrah walked his only trip to the plate tonight. That was his 36th walk of the year. Hargrove leads the ball club with 48. Harrah batting at 204. 2 homers, 16 runs batted in. He's 3 for 7 against California. That's a .429 average. He's up there right now with a chance to do some damage. Putnam at second base and Sundberg on at first. Base hit could mean a run. Here's a look in the pitch. check swing roller up the first base side. Bar strike one. Hara started to go and then pulled the bat back, but it still hit the bat. Trickled off toward the Ranger first base dugout. Down the line, it's 0-1. Well, a walk, the fielder's choice, and a base hit. 2 runners aboard. Putnam down at second base. Does not run all that fast, but he gets around pretty good. They start their leads away, and the look to second. The pitch over but low, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Still no score in the game as we play in the last of inning number 4. Each team with 5 base hits. Each team with scoring opportunities. So far, neither has been able to cash in. 1-1 the count on Toby Hara. Bobby Thompson is on deck. Ossie slowing down the tempo of the ball game, working with 2 runners aboard. Here's a look to second, and the pitch to the plate. Hara takes a low breaking pitch. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Toby steps out right now and takes a reading of Pat Corrales at third base. 2-1 on Toby Hara. Well, Ossie has walked 3 men, coming 3 1/3 innings so far. Walked 33 in 74 innings coming into tonight's game. There's a curveball strike. Levels the count off at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hara up there trying to advance a runner. Sundberg at first. Putnam on at second base. Good crowd on hand again tonight. Rangers went over the 800,000 mark last evening. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Drill foul. Out of play. Coming back upstairs. Got rides at 2-2. Well, he's been throwing Harris some off-speed pitches, and that time Ossie uncorked a fastball. Toby protecting the plate area. Just got a bat on it and fouled it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ossie with a new baseball, roughing it up before coming back up on the rubber. Rangers won 5 in a row. Going to tie right now with Kansas City for first place. Kansas City losing this afternoon. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Foul tipped in and out of the mitt. Brian Downing could not hold on to it, so Harris stays alive at the plate. Well, Toby just barely taking that ball, and Downing could not control it, so he still has life there at the plate. 2-2 on third baseman Toby Hara. Marty Springstead works behind the plate in this game. Here's the pitch. Another curveball. Hangs high. And the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All right. Got good contact hitter up there. 3-2. With only 1 out. We're going to run him. Try to avoid the double play, or going to wait and see. Ossie's got to put it over the plate, or he's going to load him up. Shakes off a sign, and now he's ready with a 3-2 pitch. The runner's move. The pitch is way outside. Ball 4. Hara has walked for the second time. The bases are loaded for Bobby Thompson. That is walk number 4, given up by Don Ossie. Jim Fregosi, the manager of the Angels, out to have a chat with him. There's been no activity in the Angel bullpen so far. Well, he walked the leadoff batter Bonds, and then he was forced by Putnam. Putnam safe at first on the fielder's choice. Sundberg then singled to left field, moving Putnam up to second. And then with the 3-2 pitch coming to Toby Hara, he lost him outside, walking Hara for the second time in the ball game. So that loads him up. Putnam over to third base, Sundberg down to second, and Hara is on at first. When Ossie has walked batters, they have been in pairs, 2 in the second and now 2 here again in the 4th inning, and the Rangers have the bases loaded. And Bobby Thompson, who hit a liner to left, is standing in, hitting at .217. Putnam comes off the bag at third. The other runners start their lead. Benfield checked in about 1 of the way on the ground. And grabbed by Gritch to throw to first. In time for the out, but the run scores. A good play by Bobby Gritch. That ball was by fairly, and Gritch grabbed it, going out on the outfield grass from his second base position over towards first. Wheel did a 360-degree turn and fired for the out. But the run comes on to score. That would be Putnam from third base. Sundberg moves over to third, and down to second moves Hara. So now there are 2 men out. And the Rangers break Mike Biage getting the first run of the ball game, leading it 1-0. And Mike Hargrove, who has singled and tripled, 2 for 2, stands in. Well, we have a winner in tonight's first run contest. John Combs, 7609 Meadowbrook in Fort Worth. So he'll be the recipient of a couple of free tickets to a Ranger home game of his choice, subject to availability. Rossi ready to face Hargrove. A run is in. Rangers lead it 1-0. Mr. Combs is the winner of the Ranger first run contest, which is brought to you by the First National Bank of Fort Worth. Pitch to Hargrove, high for ball 1. Everybody knows the First is the best. And Mr. Combs will be notified by mail about his winnings. 1-0 on Hargrove. 2 runners aboard, 2 outs. A run is home for the Rangers. Rossi working from the stretch, and here's a pitch to the plate. In for a strike called, 1-1. By the way, if you'd like to win a couple of tickets to a Ranger home game of your choice, just send a postcard to Ranger First Run Contest, care of the First National Bank of Fort Worth, Post Office Box 2260, Fort Worth, Texas 76101. 1-1 the count on Mike Hargrove. And the pitch. Curveball, sock foul up the first base side, and the count moves to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jim Mason comes out on deck. 1-2 on Hargrove. Well, a couple of walks in the inning, plus a base hit and an infield out produces the Ranger run. And Bobby Thompson getting it across with a bouncing ball that almost found its way into right field, but Critch made a good play on the ball and got the out at first. Putnam came on to score. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Hargrove. Swung on, drill foul out of play off to the left, and the count rides at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rossi with a new baseball, again giving it the treatment. The Rangers been fouling off quite a few here in the inning. Game number 70, and the Rangers win this one tonight. They'll move by half game into first place over Kansas City. Both ball clubs at this moment 37 and 32. For the loss this afternoon, California gained a half game on Kansas City. Curveball beat on the ground toward Gritch at second. Gloves it, flips to Fairley at first for the out. So Rossi gets out of it, but the Rangers got a run on 1 base hit, and they strand a couple of men. And after 4, it's Texas 1, California nothing.
WVAP 820. You're creating a landmark, a striking new piece of the skyline. But building her is just the beginning for you, because until the leases are signed and your tenants are in, nothing else counts. We understand. So at First National Bank in Dallas, when we do business with any business, we give you just what you expect from yourself. At First in Dallas, we give you results. Results, the real measure of a bet.
Jack in the Box. Now you cooking, Jack.
Jack in the Box Restaurants has more different foods than you can stick a shake at. Documentation on file at your nearest Jack in the Box.
The secret sauce is still the boss. And now we're really cooking up. May the sauce be with you. The food never stops at Jack in the Box.
Holy cow! Here's a late score. Jack in the Box menu 27. The other place 6.
Jack in the Box. We're really cooking up.
Hitting number 5, Rance Mullenix, the shortstop, will lead it off for California. And again, to tell us about it, here's John Miller.
No runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Angels. They've stranded 4 men on the base paths. And for Texas, 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors. The Rangers have stranded 6 men on. California's had 5 base runners. The Rangers have had 9 base runners. But in 4 innings, we've only had 1 of those combined 14 base runners come around to score. That was Pat Putnam, who scored on an infield out hit by Bobby Thompson. Don Gullett today, with relief help from Rich Gossage, won his 3rd straight game since he came off the disabled list. He scattered 8 hits, and the Yankees beat the Detroit Tigers 4-2. Thurman Munson drove in 2 runs with a pair of singles, and Damaso Garcia, rookie playing second base for them, had 2 hits and scored 3 runs. Steve Baker took the loss for the Detroit Tigers, so the Yankees win again today, but so did Boston. Here's Rance Mullenix. He swings, hits a high fly ball to left field. Richie Zisk over to his left. Now the wind pushes it back to his right. He gets there, makes the catch. 1 away. Mullenix, who got a base hit his last time, is retired out number 1. That brings up Brian Downing. Downing is 0 for 1. He flied to center in the 2nd. Rookie Willie Upshaw singled home Rick Cerrone and scored on Mike Howell's single in the 8th inning today to pace the Toronto Blue Jays to a 2-1 victory over Cleveland. That was the first of a doubleheader. David Clyde took the loss, and he had blanked the Blue Jays on 3 hits in 7 innings, then was lifted after walking Cerrone to open the 8th and took the loss. Pitch to Downing, low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bob Stinson's 2-run single with the bases loaded in the 9th inning snapped an 8-8 tie, and Seattle beat Milwaukee 10-8. Pitch to Downing is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Downing is batting .212. He'll be followed by Rick Miller. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2-1. Tell you, Milwaukee had a 7-2 lead in their game today with Seattle, and Seattle made 7 errors in the ball game today, and Seattle won the game 10-8. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch. Swung on, chopper over the mound. Bump Wills had him played perfectly behind second. Picks it up, throws him out. Right over the mound, and Bump Wills was way over toward the middle already and made the play for out number 2. And Downing retired. That brings up Rick Miller. Miller has singled and grounded out to shortstop. He's 1 for 2. Incidentally, the second game of that doubleheader, Andre Thornton in Cleveland. Andre Thornton hit a home run in the 5th inning to give Cleveland a split. They won 3-2 in the second game, and so Toronto and Cleveland split. Minnesota swept 2 today from the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox, after one of the best long streaks of any team in the American League, at one point they had won 18 of 20, and all of a sudden they cannot beat the first, the Seattle Mariners, and now this weekend, the Minnesota Twins. Miller stands in, batting .257 for California, as base hits and especially runs have been extremely hard to come by for California in this series. We've played now almost 3.5 games, and California has scored 4 runs, all of those in 1 game. Pitch to Miller, a little bit low with a curveball, 1 ball and no strikes. Over in the National League today, Jim Dwyer drove in 3 runs with a double and a single, and Bill Madlock and Mike Sadak hit home runs, and the San Francisco Giants beat Atlanta 9-3. Swing, drive to left center field. Thompson over to his left, gets there, makes the catch, and a 3-up, 3-down inning for Doc Medich. The first time tonight that the Angels have failed to get a runner on. And we're halfway through our ball game tonight, and the score: Texas 1, the Angels nothing.
Our guest today is Judge J. Norbert Tierney. How long have you been on the bench, sir?
Ever since you said sit down, we'll be right on the air. I
meant how long have you been a judge?
Oh, I see. 52 years.
Could you tell us your most memorable moment?
11:30 a.m., March 4th, 1924, the Scoops trial.
What happened at 11:20?
Well, we broke for recess, see, and I had a dandy spiced luncheon meat sandwich.
Spiced luncheon?
One of the many delicious lunch meats made by Decker Meats of Texas. The pickle loaf, the chopped ham's wonderful.
I am interested in your most difficult decision as a judge.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
What?
See, I couldn't decide between the Decker cooked ham and the bologna, so I decided on the spiced luncheon.
What about precedents and rulings?
Well, I could tell you one ruling.
Oh, good.
Every precedent should serve Decker beef frankfurters because they're so juicy and tasty.
Sir, what about cases?
Oh, you can buy Decker by the case, but the jumbo frank comes 8 to the package, and that's all.
Folks are dedicated to Decker because Decker has been dedicated to quality since 1899.
Look for the 50 cents off coupon on Decker boneless ham Thursday in your local newspaper.
Inning number 5, the last half of the 5th. Jim Mason, Bump Wills, and Richie Zisk for the Rangers against Don Ossie. Ossie has been in constant trouble in this ball game. He's walked 4. He's allowed 5 base hits, 9 base runners in 4 innings, and yet the Rangers have only one of those base runners home. 1-0 Texas. Mason is singled and grounded out. He's 1 for 2, batting .241. The left-handed batter bunts one first base side. He might beat this one out. Fairly fields, throws to Ossie in time at first base. A bang-bang play at first. Ossie and Mason getting there at almost the same time. A couple of feet hit down, and first base umpire Larry Barnett said the red shoe of the pitcher, Don Ossie, got there before the blue shoe of Jim Mason. And a very quick play, a very close play at first. So Mason trying to bunt his way on to get on here in the bottom of the 5th, and he almost did it. Boy, Don Ossie really gets off that mound in a hurry. Saw it on Bobby Thompson's ground ball in the 4th inning. And again there. He's made a couple of fine plays and has helped himself out considerably. Here's Bump Wills. Bump takes high, ball 1. Bump right now with 24 runs batted in for the Rangers. Only Richie Zisk, Al Oliver, and Bobby Bonds have more RBIs than the Rangers, so Bump is now 4th best on the club. Swings, hard bouncer up the middle by the second baseman. Bobby Gritch into center field, base hit. So again, the Rangers get a base runner. They've had at least one base runner in every inning. Wills gets the 6th hit of the ball game for Texas, and that brings up Richie Zisk. And it will be interesting to see if Wills tries to steal second base. You've got a man up here who's capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And let's see if Wills would risk trying to steal second. Bump has been a pretty good risk this year. He's 23 steals, and only 3 times has he been caught. Texas is 0 for 2 in the stolen base column tonight, however. Wills gets his lead, a short lead at first, stretches it out. Ossie down at the belt, turns and throws over. Wills is back. Texas now has stolen 87 bases as a team, been caught 30 times. Combination of Wills and Harris stolen 42 of 48. Here's the pitch to Zisk, low on the outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Richie has rounded out to third, and then on a check swing, he hit back to the box. He's 0 for 2. Has a look at third base coach Pat Corrales. Wills and Harris have been one of the best 1-2 punch in stolen bases in the league this year. Longer lead by Wills. He's not running. The pitch is swung on, driven into right center field. Base hit. Wills around second. He's heading for third. Here comes Bostock's throw. Not in time. And Zisk goes on down to second base. Richie Zisk get a liner out over second baseman Bobby Gritch's head. In the right center field, Lyman Bostock hustled over into the gap to cut it off. And Bump Wills never slowed down. Rounding second, decided to challenge his arm. Bostock overthrew the cutoff man. It went all the way into third base, and that allowed Richie Zisk to go into second. That brings up Bobby Bonds with 1 out. Runners at second and third. Jim Fregosi gets Paul Hartzell up in the bullpen, and now he comes walking out to the mound to give Hartzell some time to loosen up. Fregosi makes a long, slow, measured gait to the mound and is joined at the mound by catcher Brian Downing and second baseman Bobby Gritch. Well, Bobby Bonds has been walked unintentionally twice in this ball game. As well, you might expect, they're a little reluctant to give him anything at all in the strike zone because Bonds has been hitting everything that's been in the strike zone over fences in this series, or 2 fences, or on fences. He had 8 RBIs in the doubleheader on Friday. Last night, he came within a couple of feet, and perhaps a strong wind blowing in for him hitting another home run. He's had 9 RBIs in the series. The Angels come in at the corners, and they're going to walk Bobby Bonds. With 1 out, they'd much rather pitch to Pat Putnam, even though he's a left-hand swinger, than to the right-hand batting Bobby Bonds. There's ball 2 outside. So the Angels are going to put the pressure on the rookie. There's ball 3 as Bonds will be walked for the 3rd straight time in this ball game. That'll be the 5th walk by Ossie overall. There's ball 4. Bonds now has walked 5 times in the series. So here's Pat Putnam in the ball game. He has scored the Rangers' only run after getting aboard in a fielder's choice in the 4th inning. He grounded out to third his first time, so he's 0 for 4, or 0 for 2 in the ball game, and 4 for 24 on the season. He made his first appearance for the Rangers 1 week ago tonight. The Angels are going to play the infield bank for the double play. Putnam has hit the ball on the ground 2 times. Seems to be the logical move made by Jim Fregosi. The bases are loaded. Wills at third, Zisk at second, Bonds at first. 1 man out. Bottom of the 5th. Ossie from the stretch. The pitch. Change up low. Ball 1. Putnam does not run that well. A ground ball to the infield could well be turned into a double play. Now Putnam has a look at third base coach Pat Corrales. The outfield fanned out straight away. They're not very deep. The infield laying back for the double play. The stretch, the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, skied in the infield. If it stays, well, the infield fly rule is called. Now the ball drifts into foul ground, and third baseman Dave Chalk makes the catch. But Durwood Merrill called the infield fly anyway. So Putnam is out. That brings up Jim Sundberg, and before he bats, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
This is WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas. George Goebel says save now on all Bemco posture mattress sets at Snyder Furniture, Dallas, Texas.
Jim Sundberg is 2 for 2. He got a bases empty single in the 2nd, and he got a base hit in the 4th with a runner on. Now there are 3 runners on, and it will take a base hit or a California mistake to get one of them home. Ossie from the stretch. The pitch to Sundberg. Low and outside, and a good block by Brian Downing. Threw a curveball in the dirt on the outside, and Downing quickly moved to his left to block that one. Bump Wills got a base hit. Richie Zisk singled into third and went to second on a throw to third. And then Bobby Bonds was walked intentionally. Pat Putnam is fouled out. Now we have 2 men gone. The base is loaded. 1-0 Texas, bottom of the 5th. The stretch by Ossie. And the 1-0 pitch on the outside corner with a fastball. Sundberg turns to question plate umpire Marty Springstead. Perhaps something to the effect being said of, Marty, I don't think you've been giving that pitch tonight. And I wish you hadn't given it there. 1 ball, 1 strike. The stretch and the pitch. Change-up hit down the third base line. Fair ball! No, it's foul! Third base umpire Durwood Merrill called it foul. Foul ball. Pat Corrales puts his hands on his hips. Turned to question Durwood Merrill, but Merrill right there on top of the play. Connie Ryan gets up in the Rangers dugout and appears to be saying something to the plate umpire, Marty Springstead, about it. At first glance, we thought it was fair from up here. But Durwood Merrill right there wasted no time, no hesitation, and immediately called it a foul ball. So now Ossie ahead on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sundberg came inches that time from getting a couple of RBIs. Here's the pitch. Check swing, and the curveball is just an inch or 2 outside. 2-2. Didn't miss by much. Ossie made a very good pitch there on 1 and 2. Sundberg trying to deliver a run. The Rangers have had base runners all night long, but only 1 of them home. Got 3 of them on the bases right now. Here's the stretch. 2-2 pitch. High and away. The count is full. So Ossie has run out of room now to nibble. He needs a strike. He can't afford to put Sundberg on because there's nowhere to put him. So Ossie's going to have to make a very strong pitch here on 3-2 to Sundberg. Sundberg batting .314. He's already had 2 base hits. The runners will all be running. There they go. The payoff pitch is outside. Ball 4. Bub Wills comes in to score as Sundberg walks with the bases loaded. Ossie decided to try and nibble on 3-2. He didn't want to challenge Sundberg, and it costs him a run. Wills comes in to score. Zisk goes to third. Bonds goes to second. Sundberg goes to first, and Sundberg will get a run batted in on Ossie's 6th walk. The Rangers now have had 7 base hits. Ossie has walked 6, and they lead it 2-0. And here's Toby Harrah. Toby has walked twice. The pitch in low, ball 1. In the dirt it was, and Downing blocked it on a curveball. Zisk at third, Bonds at second, Sundberg at first, and now Toby Harrah with a chance to pad his RBI total a little bit. 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Not had a chance to swing the bat tonight. He's been walked twice. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit, left field. Zisk scores. Here comes Bonds. He's heading home, and Bonds scores. The Rangers lead it 4-0. For Don Ossie, as Toby Harrah delivers a line single to left field for 2 runs, bringing Zisk and Bonds home. Sundberg holds on at second. The Rangers have exploded for 3 runs in the 5th and lead 4-0. And Don Ossie, who's been walking on thin ice all evening long, finally is not able to get out of the jam here in the 5th inning. The Rangers have brought 3 runs home against them, and he'll retire with 4 2/3 innings, allowing 8 base hits and 6 walks. Paul Hartzell coming in, and there is a pause in the action, and this is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WAP 820. Welcome to Texas Rangers baseball for 1978. This looks like a super season for the Rangers, and WBAP will have all the action all season. And while we have this break, let me tell you how you can keep up with all the action every morning as you start your day. About 3 o'clock in the morning, our WBAP news team is starting to put all the pieces together so you'll know what shape your world is in when you first wake up. NBC Network News has been busy keeping a finger on the pulse of the world. David Pinfrock is drinking coffee and reading weather maps so you'll know what the weather is going to be like and how to dress. At WBAP Sports at 6:45 and 7:45. And Don Harris is busy trying to tie it all together with some great music and his own observations about the day. The Don Harris Show is the morning in the Metroplex. Join us tomorrow morning and be a WBA people, too.
Tall right-hander Paul Hartzell on to pitch for the California Angels in relief of Don Ossie here in the 5th inning. As Ossie, betrayed by his lack of control all night long, and finally walks in a run here in the 5th inning, and then Toby Harrow, the bases loaded, lines a 2-run single, picks up RBIs numbers 17 and 18, and Jim Sundberg, by the way, picked up his 24th RBI, and Hartzell inherits a 4-run deficit and comes in to face Bobby Thompson with Sundberg at second base and Hara at first base. 4 runs across for the Rangers, 3 here in the 5th inning. Hartzell is working in his 31st game. He's 1-1, lost 5, and had 5 saves and a 4.08 earned run average. In 53 innings of pitching, he's allowed 56 base hits. He's had good control. He's walked only 8 batters. Hartzell worked in the second game of the doubleheader Friday night and was roughed up. An inning and 2/3, allowed 3 runs in that ball game and 3 hits and walked 2. Thompson swings, bouncing ball to second. Grich bobbles the ball, picks it up, no play, all hands are safe. That'll go as an error on Bobby Grich. A hard ground ball just to the left of Grich. Didn't appear to be an especially difficult play, but it got right to him, hit the heel of the glove, bounced behind him, and everybody's safe. So the Rangers still alive in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sundberg down to third base. Hara now at second base. Thompson at first. The bases are loaded again. And here's Mike Hargrove. Hargrove is 2 for 3. He's singled, he's tripled, and he's grounded out. Hargrove with his 15th 2-hit game, and he's never had a 3-hit game this season. If he could get his 3rd hit here, that would really open it up. The pitch swung on and straight foul down the left field line. Boy, he nailed that one, but really foul. 0-1. Hargrove's batting average now at .266. 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Both of his base hits tonight have been leading off an inning. He led off the ball game with a base hit, and he led off the 3rd with a triple, but was stranded at 3rd. He is the 9th man to bat here in the 5th inning. Runners lead. The 1-strike pitch, high, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 runs charged to the record of Don Ossie, and he is responsible for Sundberg at 3rd and Hara at 2nd. He allowed 8 hits and walked 6. The stretch and the pitch. Inside with a fastball. 2 balls and a strike. The outfield just shading Hargrove a bit toward left. The infield plays him pretty much straight up. 3 runs across in the inning for the Rangers, and here in the bottom of the 5th, they have a 4-0 lead over California. Hargrove trying to stretch it out some more. Hartzell trying to end the inning. Delivers 2-1. Swung on a drive to deep right field. Back goes Bostock. Still going back. Hits over his head and off the wall. Sundberg scores. Harris scores. Here comes Thompson, and he scores. He cleaned it up. Rangers lead it 7-0. It's a 3-run double. Cleans off the bases, and the Rangers have scored 6 in the 5th inning and lead it 7-0. And I believe that equals their single-inning high for the season. 6 runs in a single inning. Now Jim Mason, a base hit, could make it 7 runs. And Mike Hargrove has his first 3-hit game of the season. He picks up his 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Runs batted in. Pitch to Mason. Swung on. Bouncing ball towards shortstop. Over to his left is Mullenix. Fields. Throws and gets him at first. And that's all for the Texas Rangers. But they score 6 runs in the inning. And after 5 full innings, it's Texas 7, California nothing.
WBAP 820.
This is little old George Goebel for the Little Oil Company, Vickers of Wichita. We built a business with hundreds of stations selling petroleum products, fast, friendly, and priced right. And after more than 60 years of hard work, we're just a little oil company. But we think nice customers like you make us a great little oil company.
Let me hear you say. Gas, real fast. You better look for Vickers, look for the B, the Vickers sign. Gas, real fast.
Does your car sputter and cough all the way to work? It might be time for you to give it a tune-up. And Ashby Auto Parts can provide you with the highest quality parts for your tune-up, including Champion spark plugs. Ashby Auto Parts says a tune-up can improve your car's performance. Give your car a chance to improve its performance. Stop by Ashby Auto Parts with 3 North Dallas locations for the high-quality automotive parts you need for your tune-up and Champion spark plugs.
You weave people, fabrics, and ideas into the fashions the world is wearing season after season. It's your business. It's big business. And if you don't deliver the goods on time, nothing else counts. We understand. So at First National Bank in Dallas, when we do business with any business, we give you just what you expect from yourself. At First in Dallas, we give you results. Results. The real measure of a bet.
In that 5th inning, the Rangers scored 6 runs. There were 4 base hits, 2 walks, 1 error, and they left 1 batter on. And 6 of the runs in the ball game charged to the record of Don Ossie. 4 of them earned, and the 7th run charged to Hartzell, that too unearned. So here we go to the 6th. The Angels all of a sudden find themselves trailing by 7 runs. Bobby Grich, who's 1 for 2, takes ball 1. The most runs Doc Medich has seen in a ball game this year. There's a pitch high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Now we understand that is the most runs the Rangers have scored in an inning this year. I guess they've had 5 runs in an inning. There's a 2-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's been quite a week for Rangers runs, beginning a week ago last Saturday, and a week ago last night when they got 13. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Grich. Sidearm pitch inside and low. 3 balls and a strike. Grich, Bostock, and Fairley. Mike Hargrove with his first 3-hit game of the season picks up 3 RBIs in the ball game tonight. See, that's also the most RBIs he's had in a ball game. Here's a swing and a miss by Grich. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see in Oakland Tuesday night, 9:15. Doc Ellis and Steve Renko will battle it out. Then Wednesday at 9:15, we'll have Ferguson Jenkins and Rick Langford. And Thursday afternoon, we'll get a look at the 18-year-old Tim Conroy. Pop-up, right side of the infield. Hargrove calling for it. Moves in and to his left and makes the catch. He was camped under it. The wind started to blow it around and had to drift over to his left and pick it off. 1 away, and Lyman Bostock the batter. Bostock is 0 for 2. He's hit into a fielder's choice and hit into a quick double play. Bostock, 0 for 4 last night. He's now 0 for his last 7 in the series. Here's the pitch to him. He shortens up as if to bunt, takes a called strike, 0-1. There, Ron Fairley's the man who's really had a tough series of it. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled back out of play. 0-2 to Bostock. Fairley tonight is 0 for 2. He was 0 for 4 in the second game of the doubleheader Friday, and 0 for 4 in the first game. 0 for 10 in the series for Fairley, and he was hitting .393 on the road trip before coming into Texas. 0-2, the count to Bostock, and Doc Medich winds and deals. Swing and a miss, he struck him out. Boy, the bottom fell out of that one. I don't know what Doc threw on that one. Looked like a sinker ball on the outside. So Bostock goes out on strikes. The first strikeout for Doc Medich tonight. He has not walked anybody, and here's Ron Fairley. Say, Doc has had some outings where he's looked sharp the last month or so. But as John Matlack looked so very sharp last night, Doc Medich has really looked sharp tonight. He's given up a few base hits, but his control has really been sharp, staying ahead of the batters. Here's Fairley, swung on, bouncing ball right to the first baseman, Hargrove. He'll run to the bag, he tags the bag, and it's 3 up and 3 down for the Angels. We've played 5.5 innings tonight. The score, Texas 7, California nothing.
Cook Paint Decorating Center.
Is it true that Cook makes paint for the inside of food cans like soup, vegetables, and so forth?
It sure is. It's a highly specialized field, but we've been making container coatings for many years. Today we're making many new formulations that save energy and meet pollution control standards.
Well, with that kind of experience, you ought to be able to make good paint for my home.
Pardon the pun, ma'am, but we can. We can.
Cook Paint, finest quality for home and industry. Well, I'm the kind of man who does things right. I take pride in my work and enjoy my life. And when I use cement mix, I use Saccrete, yeah. Saccrete will set a post and build a patio. I made a barbecue pit and I was ready for more. So I fixed the cracks in my driveway yesterday. I made a neat flower box, a brand new step, and I fenced off my yard with just a little help. So when I think cement mix, I think Saccrete. You just add water.
In the bottom of the 6th inning, the Rangers will send up Bump Wills, Richie Zisk, and Bobby Bonds, the 3, 4, 5 spots against Paul Hartzell. 7-0 Rangers. Quick look at the scoreboard around baseball today in the American League. Doubleheader, Toronto splitting with Cleveland. Toronto won the first one 2-1. Cleveland won the nightcap 3-2. The Minnesota Twins swept 2 for the White Sox today, 8-5 and 9-6. As there's certainly been a lack of singing and joy at Comiskey the past week. Seattle beat Milwaukee 10-8 despite making 7 errors in the ball game. Bump Wills takes a changeup low, ball 1. Oakland beat Kansas City 6-3. The Rangers say thank you very much. Here's the 1-0 pitch, high, ball 2. So Texas is at this very moment in a flat-footed tie for first place, and if they can maintain their 7-run advantage, they will be in sole possession of first. Here's ball 3 to Wills, high and away. 3 balls, no strikes. Wills is 1 for 3 in the ball game and hitting .237. Got a base hit in that 5th to start the rally. The pitch, there's a strike at the knees. It's folded. 3 and, well, let's see, that was strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. And the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, a high bouncer foul outside of first, 3-2. The Boston Red Sox won again today. They beat the Orioles 4-1. Mike Torres won his 11th ball game. They had 33,526 at Fenway, and the Red Sox now in 39 games at home have drawn more than 1 million. And they've won 33 of their 39 games at home. Swing, bouncing ball to Fairley. Gloves it, runs over, tags the bag, and Wills is out number 1. That brings up Richie Zisk. Richie got a base hit in the 5th inning. Keep the rally going, came around, scored a run, and is 1 for 3 in the ball game. 2, Don Gullett the winner. The combination of Gullett and Guidry is 15-0. Combination of Guidry and Guidry is 12-0. Zisk takes outside, ball 1. In the National League, the Padres swept a doubleheader from Houston, 6-1 and 7-4. Boy, it's turning into a long season for the Astros. Swinging a bouncing ball to short. Mullenix to his left, gloves it, fields, throws, gets him. Zisk retired for out number 2, and that brings up Bobby Bonds. And with the bases empty, let's see if Bonds will get something to hit. He's walked 3 straight times in this ball game. He's walked 5 times in the series. And when he hasn't walked, he's driven in 9 runs in the series. The San Francisco Giants beat Atlanta 9-6 in the first game of a doubleheader, but Atlanta came back and in the 11-inning nightcap beat the Giants 8-4. Got 5 runs in the 11th inning. Did Atlanta. Bobby Bonds takes a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. They had 41,000 today at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Bonds. Change-up inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Cincinnati Reds beat the Dodgers 5-4 at Dodger Stadium. They had 50,000 in L.A. Cincinnati moves to 2.5 back of San Francisco. Bonds, it's a chopper foul, third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bobby Bonds. 2 outs and nobody on, bottom of the 6th. The Rangers with a single run in the 4th and 6 runs in the 5th and lead 7-0. See, California has now gone 16 innings without a run. And in 33 innings of pitching in this series, Texas pitchers have allowed only 4 runs. Pitch to Bonds, outside of the curve, 2-2. St. Louis beat Montreal today, 7-5 in the National League. Philadelphia swept the Cubs 4 straight. They won today, 4-2. Pitch to Bonds. There's a drive to left center field. Moving in now is Miller, and he makes the catch over in left center. So Bonds is retired, and the Rangers go 3 up and 3 down in the 6th inning. And after 6 full, the Rangers 7, the Angels nothing.
WBAP 820. Thank you for joining us for this Texas Rangers baseball game on WBAP. We'd like to remind you to stay tuned to WBAP for the best music around with a lot of people who enjoy what they do. It starts every morning, Monday through Saturday, with Don Harris saying, "Good morning, bright eyes," and keeping you informed, entertained, and smiling. WBAP 820. No matter where you are or where you're going, we'd sure like for you to join us on WBAP, doing it all for WBA people.
Mike's Auto Supply knows that Delco batteries supply the thrust of power you need to start your car every time. Mike Hawkins has quality AC Delco replacement parts at all 4 locations. Mike's number 1 across from Tandytown, Fort Worth. Number 2 across from Miller Brewing on the South Freeway, Fort Worth. Mike's number 3, Highway 82 East, Gainesville. And Mike's number 4 at 1125 West 6th Street, Irving. See the good guys at Mike's Auto Supply.
You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery.
Doc Medich through 6 innings has a 5-hit shutout going. He's not allowed to hit since the 4th inning and comes into the 7th having retired the last 8 batters he's faced. So Doc trying to nail this one down on June 25th as the Rangers try in their 70th game to go into first place for the first time this year. Now coming back in for more play-by-play as we go to the 7th, here's Wild Bill Merrill.
Right, John, and the last man to reach base was the man that's going to lead it off, Don Baylor, and that was a double down the third baseline in the 4th inning. Baylor 1 out of 2 tonight, hitting at .247. Rangers have had only 1 shutout all year, and here's a pitch tossed through for a strike call. And then in this series, they've had 2 so far. Jenkins and Matlack. Sidearm. Ooh, glove by the bare hand. What a play by Medich, and that was a hot shot on 1 bounce. Medich could not field it with the glove, so he just grabbed it with his pitching hand, and it stuck in there like a big cantaloupe.
Did we really see that, Bill?
I think we did. I tell you what, the first time I ever saw Bill Lee field one between his legs on a deal like that, I couldn't believe it even when I saw it on a replay. But Medich makes a tremendous bare hand grab of that hot shot right back to the box and tosses out Don Baylor.
So, you know, it wasn't just a chopper like you say. Well, that was it real hard, and he just lightning quick stuck out the hand, and there it was.
He may feel a few bees in that hand right now.
Tell you, flycatcher out there.
Oh, me. Here's Rudy, 1 out of 2 tonight, a single back in the 2nd inning. There's a drive hit deep to left center, but it's going to be playable as Bobby Thompson roams under it and makes the catch for the out. So 2 up, 2 pitches, 2 men are gone, and that'll bring to the plate Dave Chalk. Nothing out of 2 tonight. Chalk has twice been a ground-out victim, first to second, and then grounded to shortstop. So 2 up, 2 down, and coming on is Chalk. Dave hitting at .264. He's 3 out of 12 in this series. Way up on that bat handle. Takes a pitch right in for a strike. Well, Medich has not been sharper this year, especially with his control. They got a couple of hits off of him in the 2nd inning. The rest of it has been a little bit one at a time. There's a fly ball to right field. Over near the line. Bobby Bonds races over. Medich puts down the side in a very rapid fashion here in the 7th. We go to the Rangers stretch 7th, and it's Texas 7, California nothing.
When do you say Budweiser? Whenever it's time for the great game of baseball. When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the ump tells the players to play ball. After a double play, a pitch hit that saves the day. Anytime's the right time to say it. When do you say Budweiser? That's the day for any time at all. After a long home run, after the game is won, King of Bears is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, when you say yay baseball, when you say Budweiser, you said it all. You said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
All-American Night coming up July 7th here at Arlington Stadium. It's baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet night. And Chevrolet will be giving away an amazing new two-door hatchback Chevy Chevette. You can register now and as often as you like at your participating Tarrant and Dallas County dealerships. And you'll also be registering for a chance to win 2 8-day luxury vacations for 2 in Hawaii. Here's Pat Putnam swinging, fouling the ball off to the right side, strike 1. And also, you'll be registering for a 25-cent discount coupon on fry wieners and fry meats, plus a certificate for a free apple pie from Jack in the Box. Don't forget, that's All-American Night when the Rangers will be taking on the Tigers July 7th. You do not need to be present to win. All-American Night here on July 7th. Putnam up there. Pat has failed to hit tonight in 3 trips. Hitting at 160. Big left-handed batter, and here's the pitch to him. Swung on a fly ball. Hit straightaway center field. Drifting back, Rick Miller. He's under it, waiting, and has it for the out. So there's 1 away here in the last of inning number 7. 7-0, the Rangers lead. 7 runs, 9 hits. No errors, California. No runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Jim Sundberg, 2 for 2, plus a walk that forced in a run, and has scored a run. Jim getting his 24th RBI when he walked with the bases loaded. The Rangers went on a rampage in the 5th inning. Batting at .314. All Hartzell ready, and here's the pitch right through for a strike call. Starting pitcher Don Ossie worked 4 2/3 innings. 8 hits, 6 runs, 4 of which were earned. Did not strike out anyone and walked 6, 1 intentional. There's a pitch that swung on, and a fly ball hit down the right field line. Wind has caught it, pushing it away, and Lyman Bostock with a long run cannot get to it. Downs on the warning track, hops over the Ranger bullpen area, and into the stands for a souvenir. And the count goes to 0-2 strikes. Rangers will be off tomorrow. Then they head west for Oakland on Tuesday. It'll be Doc Ellis going against Steve Rinko. Rinko, by the way, was the pitcher that won over the Rangers and the one win that Oakland was able to pick up. Rangers, if they win tonight, will have taken 8 out of the 11 home games.
821. 2282.
Here's the pitch. Just outside. The count is 1-2 strikes. 22,821 in attendance here tonight, and another fine crowd. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Sundberg smashes one in the alley. In left center field. Rudy on the run. Miller on the run. Rudy will take it on the bounce, and Sundberg steams into second base, standing with a double. And he's 3 for 3 tonight. Has been on all 4 times. Well, he ripped that one in the alley in left center and easily legs it in for a stand-up double. Second hit given up by Paul Hartzell since he came on, and the Rangers' 10th hit of the night. So with 1 out, Rangers threaten again, and here's Toby Harrah. John?
You know, since Sundberg got out of that slump, which saw him drop below 300 for the first time in a long time, he's now come back and gotten 11 base hits in his last 23 times up.
Just slightly under 500. Here's Harrah. Toby's had a 2-run single and walked twice. 2 for 2. Takes a pitch up high. Ball 1. Hitting at 208. Harrah now has 18 runs batted in. And he's 4 for 8, 500 in this series against California. Hartzell working with Sundberg at second. Here's the pitch. Sidearm delivery through for a strike called. 1-1. Rangers got some activity going in the bullpen. Left-hander Paul Lindblad up, and it looks like Glenn Barker, the big right-hander, and is up throwing. So Bill Hunter, Justin Case here in the late going, has 2 men tuning up in the bullpen. 1-1 the count on Harrah. Bobby Thompson is on deck. Sundberg has had a 4-hit night, and again he picks up a 3-hit night. Here's the pitch. Harrah fouls off to the right side, and the count is 1-2 strikes. We have a moment. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.
WBAP 820, Fort Worth, Dallas. When it comes to Ranger baseball coverage, the Dallas Times-Herald takes a big lead. Catch it at home tomorrow.
A ball and 2 strikes on Harrah. Can pick up a run at second. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven foul down the first base side. Out of play, and the count rides. 1-2 strikes. 22,821 on hand for tonight's finale of this homestand. The Rangers' 9-day homestand with 11 ball games tossed in. That'll put them up to 800, about 824 or 5,000 on the year. Pitch is high inside, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boston hit 1 million today, earliest they've ever done so. 2-2 on Toby Hara. Paul Hartzell trying to get out without any more damage, reaching and just getting a piece and fouling back. Hara hit that ball right off the end of the bat. Count rides at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Bill, the attendance this year now after 38 dates at home is 215,600 ahead of last year.
Ooh, that's moving on. They're hoping to draw Mill 6 or 7, and the way they're going, they certainly could do that. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Hara knew it and takes it looking. So that's the second out of the inning, and that'll bring on Bobby Thompson. Hartzell gaining his first strikeout since coming on, and that's the first California strikeout of the night. Here's Thompson, nothing out of 3 in the ball game, reached on an error. Also picked up an RBI back in the 4th inning when he grounded out with a man at 3rd. Batting left, the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Thompson hitting at 211. He was on an error, and a rather costly one at that, as the Rangers went on to pick up 3 unearned runs. Jack of second and the pitch. Over but low, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men are out. Sundberg down at second, picking up his 9th double of the year with a long drive in the alley in left center. Here's a look, and Hartzell works. Inside and low, and the count moves to 2 balls, 1 strike. Miller in center, fading off to left center, and Bostock shading off toward right center. Rudy just about straight away in left field. Count of 2 balls, 1 strike on the batter, Bobby Thompson. Top of the order, Mike Hargrove is on deck. And in comes a pitch. Swing and a miss, and the count levels at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thompson had his first Major League home run last night. That came in the 8th inning. Solo shot with a couple of men out. He was quite an elated young man. 2-2 on Thompson. Here's the pitch. In for call, strike 3. Nice, slow breaking curveball. Hartzell picks up a couple of strikeouts. That is the end of 7. It's still Texas 7, California nothing.
WBAP 820.
When you're looking for a way to lighten your day, to brighten your day, think of flight. Flying away to the taste of yesterday, the old-fashioned flavor of pride. When the work is done, a day in the sun is a lot more fun if you try. Loading up and away to the taste of yesterday, the old-fashioned flavor of pride.
Life insurance, the State Farm way. It's designed for your way of living. If you're a woman with people depending on you as a homemaker or a wage earner, you need life insurance of your own. See your nearby State Farm agent.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Brought to you by your Metroplex State Farm agents.
Does your car sputter and cough all the way to work? It might be time for you to give it a tune-up. And Ashby Auto Parts can provide you with the highest quality parts for your tune-up, including Champion spark plugs. Ashby Auto Parts says a tune-up can improve your car's performance. Give your car a chance to improve its performance. Stop by Ashby Auto Parts with 3 North Dallas locations for the high-quality automotive parts you need for your tune-up and Champion spark plugs.
Shortstop Rance Mullenix slated to lead it off here in the Angels' 8th. And again, to tell you about it, here's John Miller.
Okay, Bill. Mullenix, Downing, and Miller, the 8, 9, 1 spots in the Angels' batting order. As right-hander Doc Medich trying to nail down his second victory, nail down his first shutout, and nail down first place, at least for the balance of the evening, for the Texas Rangers. Here's a swing, a hot shot on the ground. 2 hops to Bump Wills. Fields it, throws it, gets him at first. Mullenix is retired out number 1 on 1 pitch. He's now 1 for 3. By the way, I want to extend a very hearty thank you very much to the Rangers Women's Club that came up with another cake for us tonight. And they told me it was a chocolate tunnel cake. I, of course, usually don't eat that sort of stuff, but... Here's Brian Downing, takes a strike, and the outside, it's 0-1.
John, you only eat them one at a time.
That's right. Here's the 1 strike pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. But I told the ladies when they gave me the cake that Although I probably wouldn't be able to have any. Sure, Bill and Jim would be able to take care of it. But I have sampled the cuisine, and it was outstanding. 2-strike pitch, outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here, the Rangers Women's Club has been doing baseball's version of the League of Women Voters. They've been getting out the vote for the All-Star game. Swing, line drive, just foul outside of third. Downing just missed by inches. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Downing is fly to center and grounded to second. He's 0 for 2, batting at .210. Now he goes over to the bat rack to get himself a new bat. Rangers Women's Club has been distributing ballots, and they have really been doing a tremendous job at encouraging people, getting the ballots into people's hands here at the ballpark to get that vote out. Richie Zisk, in the last tabulation, was in 3rd place for outfield voters, so he's got a good shot at being a starting outfielder in the All-Star game. Pitch to Downing, outside for a ball, 2-2. We just about hit the 2-hour mark in our ball game tonight. Texas leading 7-0. Doc Medich has not allowed a base runner since the 4th. 2-2 pitch. On the outside corner, strike 3 call, and Downing knew it. The perfect pitcher's pitch that time from Doc Medich. 2-2, and he threw a low fastball and just nipped the outside corner about knee high. Strikeout number 2 for Doc. Quickly 2 down in the 8th inning, and here's Rick Miller. He is singled, grounded out, and flied out. He's 1 for 3. 22,000, almost 23,000 here tonight, and brings the series total to about 81,000 for 3 nights. Fastball is low to Miller, 1 ball and no strikes. Boy, you know, the Rangers could get up near $1 million by the All-Star break. Here's the 1-0 pitch. On the corner, strike 2 call, strike 1 call, 1 ball, 1 strike. We've got the Yankees in for 2, and I tell you, friendly word of advice, get your tickets in advance for that one. Make sure you've got your seats in hand when the Yankees come in July 5th and 6th. 1-1 pitch outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. And then July 7th, 8th, and 9th, the Detroit Tigers come into town for 3 ball games, and then it will be the All-Star break. 5 big ball games for Texas with the Yankees and the Tigers. The Rangers have a score to settle with Detroit. 2-1 pitch. There's a looper foul down the left field line. Back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Tigers really laid it on the Rangers early in the season. They beat Texas 2 in a row here at Arlington Stadium early in the year. And then they took 2 out of 3 from them at Tiger Stadium. The Tigers have a 4-1 advantage over Texas. 2-2 pitch to Miller. Swung on, the bouncer foul outside of first. Count hangs on, 2-2. Miller batting with 2 outs and nobody on here at the top of the 8th inning. Rangers lead 7-0. Tell you, the Rangers have allowed only 1 game in this series in which California has scored a run, as the Angels hitting a severe slump here at Arlington Stadium. 2-2 pitch low, 3-2. And Texas can tell the Angels what that's all about, as it was just a little more than a week ago that Texas was in the throes of a serious slump. 3-2 pitch, swung on and lifted, foul out of play, left side, 3-2. The Rangers now, in the last 8 ball games, this being the 8th, have scored 55 runs, or just about 7 runs per game. And prior to that, they couldn't score anything. Get 7 runs and 19 hits in 5 games, all losses. 3-2 pitch, swung on and pop foul, back out of play. So Miller fighting Medich here in the 8th inning. California has been shut out 4 times on this current road trip already in 13 ball games. And Texas trying to make it 5 and 3 in this series. But, of course, this one, long way yet to be talking about a shutout. We're in the 8th inning with 2 outs, the pitch. There's a drive to center field. Long run for Bobby Thompson. He gets there near the warning track, and on the warning track, he makes the catch. Rick Miller hit it 390 feet to dead straight away, center field. And Bobby Thompson, after a long run, hauls it in. So Doc Medich sets them down in order for the 4th consecutive inning, and he's retired 14 men in a row. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's the Rangers 7, California nothing.
Boy, you feel proud when you got a truck. You know it's really built to stay tough. It's a riding high feeling all the way in a stay tough truck. trucks from Chevrolet.
Got the feeling it's time to trade in your old truck? Well, maybe you should see your Chevy dealer during Chevrolet's Tough Truck Trading Days, because he's ready to deal on a whole line of tough Chevy trucks. Chevy 3/4-ton pickups, Chevy vans, Chevy Blazers, Chevy Loves. He's got a great selection of trucks in stock to choose from. So go see your Chevy dealer today during Tough Truck Trading Days. And remember, he needs used trucks now.
Boy, you feel proud when you got a truck. You know it's really built to stay tough. It's a riding high feeling all the way in a Stay Tough truck from Chevrolet.
First baseman, Hargrove. Bottom of the 8th inning, Mike Hargrove will lead it off for the Texas Rangers against right-hander Paul Hartzell. Hartzell on in the 5th inning in relief of Don Ossie. He'll face Hargrove, Mason, and Wills. Hargrove is 3 for 4 in the ball game with 3 RBIs. Picked them all up on one big double back in the 5th inning that cleared the bases. Has singled, doubled, and tripled. If he hit a home run here, he'd have the cycle. Hartzell's pitch. Slider low in the dirt, skips on back to the screen. 1 ball and no strikes. With Hargrove's 3 for 4 night tonight, Big Mike has lifted his batting average to .269. Now with 4 home runs, 25 runs batted in. There's ball 2. Hargrove's double was his 15th double of the year. He leads the Rangers in that category. And he got his first triple in the game of the season in the 3rd. Now Hartzell appears to have gotten some dust, perhaps in his eye, and he rubs the eye and then goes up to the middle of the cap. Back of the mound, now steps back on the mound. Hargrove steps in the batter's box. 2-0 delivery. High with a fastball. 3 balls and no strikes. 7 runs, 10 hits for the Rangers. No runs, 5 hits for the Angels. Now the 3-0 pitch. Down the middle for a strike. 3-1. Hargrove's double back in the 5th inning. Line drive, a low liner. Lyman Bostock was playing him shallow, had trouble picking it up, and it went over his head. Hargrove hits a bouncing ball to second. High hop to Gritch. Throws him out, 1 away. That brings up Jim Mason. Mason is 1 for 4. He had the dubious distinction in that 6-run 5th inning of making the first and the last outs of the inning.
Jim Mason.
Mason batting .233. The wind-up and the pitch to the left-hand batting shortstop. Slider over for a strike. 0-1. Don't forget now, 9:15 Tuesday and Wednesday from Oakland. We'll be on the air. Low and inside to Mason. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on, here in the bottom of the 8th. Doc Medich looking for a shutout. He's had 9 in his career. Swinging a foul at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the 9th inning, Doc Medich will have to face Bobby Gritch, Lyman Bostock, Ron Fairley. The first 3 men due up. 1 right-hand batter and 2 very tough left-hand swingers. 2, 3, 4 spots in the Angels' batting order. And if anybody gets on, he's got Baylor and then Rudy after them. So you have a tough shot in the 9th. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. A grass cutter to second again. Bobbled by Gritch. Picks it up. Throws him out. Gritch stayed in front of that one. The ball came up, hit him off in the chest, and bounced right at his feet. He leaned down and picked it up. 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that brings up Bump Wills. Bump is 1 for 4. Fly to right, fly to center, grounded out, and singled. Got a single with 1 out in the 5th. It started the 6-run uprising. Bump is batting .236. He's hitting .400 the last 5 games now. Takes high ball 1. Toby Harrah tonight, 1 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. Toby now 4 for 9 in the series. 1-0 pitch. Swung on line, foul down the right field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Toby, by the way, is 6 for his last 15, so he's been hitting at a .400 clip the last 5 or 6 games. Now the windup on the 1-1 pitch to Wills. There's a swing and a miss. Changed up on him on the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs and nobody on for Texas. Richie Zisk on deck. He would be next. Now the windup on the 1-2 delivery. Swung on, lifted foul. Little lazy lift over the California dugout, third base side. Out of play. It hangs on. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wills, switch hitter, batting left-handed. And the 1-2 pitch. He hits a high fly ball to straightaway left field. Rudy comes in on it a few steps and makes the catch. And the Rangers go down quietly in the 8th inning. Doc Medich faces Gritch, Bostock, and Fairley for the shutout in the 9th. We go to the 9th. Texas 7, California nothing.
WBAP 820.
How do you pick a good house from the rest? How can you tell if you get what you pay for?
When you see the house symbol, you're looking at a house with a 10-year protection plan. A decade of protection and peace of mind. So look for the house symbol. It means you're covered for a long time.
Homeowner's warranty. That's how.
Presented by the Builders Association of Fort Worth and Tarrant County.
If your car needs a tune-up, here's one way you might start saving gasoline. Have your car's engine tuned at TuneIn Incorporated, Jupiter at Buckingham, Garland. TuneIn will make sure you get your tune-up with quality AC Delco tune-up parts. Delco Ramey points and condensers are engineered to help give you responsive performance. They could save you gas, and that will save you money. Get a tune-up today with quality AC Delco tune-up parts at TuneIn Incorporated, Jupiter and Buckingham, Garland.
Doc Medich on to pitch the top of the 9th inning. He's got a 7-run lead to work with. And would like to try and preserve his shutout here in the 9th inning. Doc Medich has not had a complete game this year, and he's not had a shutout this year. In fact, he's only had one win this year, and that was back on May the 19th. Bobby Gritch, 1 for 3 in the ball game, had a single back in the 3rd, the first man to face him. Here's the pitch. Line, base hit to left field. So Gritch wastes no time here in the 9th inning. Jumps on the first pitch and stings it through the left side of the infield. And that's the first base runner for California since Don Baylor hit a one-out double in the 4th. Doc Medich had retired 14 consecutive batters since that time. Here's Lyman Bostock. The very strong part of the Angels' batting order coming up now. Bostock is 0 for 3 in this game. He did not have a hit last night either. The pitch to him just misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Mike Jorgensen is in to play first base now for Texas. In the 9th inning for Mike Hargrove. He plays behind Rich over at first. The stretch and the 1-0 pitch. Swung on. Bouncing ball headed for the hole right side. It's on through. Base hit to right field. Rich goes down to second and holds on as Bobby Bonds comes up with it. So the Angels get 2 base hits back-to-back in the 9th inning, and that brings up Ron Fairley. Don Baylor coming out on deck. So the shutout is in jeopardy now. But more importantly, the Angels trying to get something going here and try and chip away in this lead. They really don't have much time to chip away in the lead, however. If they're going to stay in the ball game, they'll have to do all of the damage here in the 9th inning. They need at least 7 to keep it going. They're trailing 7-0. They now have 7 hits against Doc Medich. The Rangers get Len Barker up in the bullpen. He'd been up earlier. Runners lead at first and second. The stretch of the pitch to Fairley. Low, ball 1. Fairley is 0 for 3. Is flat out and grounded out twice. And he's 0 for 11 in the series. Nobody out, 2 runners on. The stretch and the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a foul ball at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coming up on the road, 3 games in Oakland, 3 games in California, and 2 games in Chicago. That'll take us right up through the 4th of July. I have one of those ball games on TV for you a week from today at Anaheim. The stretch. Medich checks second. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on. Popped up. Right out in the middle of the diamond. Hara, Sundberg, Jorgensen all start in after it, and Toby Hara calls for it and makes the catch near the mound, third base side. So Fairley is retired. Boy, what a miserable series for the veteran Ron Fairley. He turns 40 in July, I think July the 12th. And he's been a hot hitter on this road trip. And he walks back to the dugout, takes the helmet off, and in frustration, he flings it into the dugout. Been a tough trip, but, well, a tough series for Fairley after a good trip. Now here's Don Baylor. Home run, RBI man on this ball club. 2 runners on. The pitch swung on and fouled back out of play. Gritch led off the inning with a base hit. Bostock followed him with a base hit. But Medich has come back to get fairly to pop into the air to third baseman Hara. Now he faces the biggest run producer the Angels have, Don Baylor, one of the best in the league. Baylor is 1 for 3. The stretch and the pitch. Swung on, popped up. First base side, Jorgensen drifting into foul ground, near the stands, makes the catch, 2 gone. So Medich, after starting in jeopardy in the 9th inning, has come back to get 2 big hitters, and it's all up to Joe Rudy. Rudy is 1 for 3. He's singled his first time of the second. Then he's grounded to short and fly to center. He's 1 for 3. The Rangers, who had 2 shutouts all season long in their first 66 ball games, now trying to get their third in 4 games with the Angels. 2 runners on, a base hit could break up the shutout. And Rudy will try to keep it going for the Angels. Runners lead from first and second. Medich delivers. Check swing. The pitch is over for a strike. 0-1. Rudy didn't even really check the swing. He just started with a notion, laid off, and took it for a strike. 0-1. The outfield plays him deep and around toward left. 0-1 to Rudy. 2 outs and 2 on in the 9th. Now the 1-strike pitch. Outside, and Sundberg makes a good stab. Boy, Doc, they tried to put too much steam on that fastball. Overthrew it, missed way outside. Sundberg with a good stop. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rich and Bostock get their leads off second and first. Medich at the belt. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a foul at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And George Francis Medich from Alakepa, Pennsylvania at 9:51 on Sunday, June 25th, 1 strike away from putting the Angels down in the 9th and from putting the Rangers into first place for the first time this year. Here's the stretch. Looks at second. The 1-2 pitch. There's a drive to right field. Bonds coming quick. Reaches down and makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Bonds pulled it off the turf. And the ball game is over, and Doc Medich gets his second win, his first shutout, and the scoreboard in left field says Rangers, first place. In the 9th inning for California, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on. And the final score, Texas 7, California nothing. Back with the totals in 60 seconds.
Enjoy a real slice of American life. Good Guys potato chips. Guys fresh flavors, the one you like best. Good Guys potato.
Now on behalf of the Texas Rangers, this is Bill Nelson. Thank you for
The totals for the ball game tonight for the Texas Rangers: 7 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and 8 men left on. For the California Angels, no runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 6 men stranded. The winning pitcher, Doc Medich, now 2-3, his 10th career shutout, his first this year. The losing pitcher, Don Ossie, now 4-4. The time of the game, 2 hours and 14 minutes. And the crowd tonight, 22,821. As it turns out, the game-winning RBI goes to Bobby Thompson, the 3rd game winner Thompson has had this week. And in the Rangers' streak of 8 wins in 9 games, Thompson has had 3 game-winning RBIs. So Texas has won 6 in a row, and they're closing in on their longest winning streak of the year, which was 7 back in April, and moved into first place for the first time this year. They shut out the California Angels 3 times in the 4-game series, and California goes home to meet Kansas City tomorrow night. The Rangers will have the night off as they travel to Oakland and will open up a 3-game series and an 8-game road trip at the Coliseum in Oakland Tuesday night. We'll be on the air at 9:15 as Doc Ellis goes against Oakland's Steve Rinko. So an eventful night for the Texas Rangers. They shut out the Angels. They get their first 4-game series sweep of the season and are in first place for the first time. Now this is John Miller for Bill Merrill and Technical Director Jim Birdsong, hoping you enjoyed our broadcast of Rangers baseball tonight, and reminding you we'll be on the air again Tuesday at 9:15. The final score tonight, the Rangers beat the Angels 7-0, and the star of the game is next on the Texas Rangers Baseball Network.